Yes, this is Type 40 Live, materialising here for the new year. Well, the nearly new year, with our season premiere live stream Doctor Who magazine show. We are the live stream Doctor Who magazine show across your view screen in real time here on YouTube, Rumble, and on Facebook, always in front of a live chat full of friends, fans, and companions just like you. Welcome aboard, or welcome back. Delete where applicable, as the Cybermen may say. Okay, so where are we and who are we? Well, I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks. Oh, it's so great to be back. Any second now, I'm going to be joined by a panel of hungry Doctor Who pundits pulled in from across the Whoniverse. Well, a couple of A roads and B roads, really, but they're hungry. I promise you that. If you've never seen the show before, well, it won't really make much difference, to be honest. I think just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride with us. Yes, we're here for 2024, Doctor Who's 61st year, and there's so much to talk about. There's a lot that's been going on whilst we've been away. So wherever you're joining us from, you're able to comment along too. As always, drop us a comment in the live chat there and get involved on all of these topics, or just share what's going on with you and where you are with Doctor Who. If you're watching on Facebook, of course, you've got to hit that little blue link, and then Facebook will tell StreamYard, and StreamYard will tell us exactly who you are, so we can all get on first name terms here for the return of Type 40 Live. Yes, it's great to be back. I've really missed this, and some of you seem to have missed us as well, I'm happy to say. So thanks so much for all the comments, the messages, and the continued enthusiasm for everything that we do here at Type 40 Live and Type 40. Oh, we've been enjoying the break, hell of a break, and we've awoken, haven't we, in an all new era with an all new Doctor. Doesn't look colourful? Oh, we'll get round to him in a couple of minutes as well. But we're fit and well to catch up on as much as we can with as many as we can. First of all, who's first? Yes, so we've got him. Yes, he's here. He's absolutely not a Whovian. He's a dog owner. That could be a hint. Although this dog has 4 legs rather than wheels or rollers. Actually, I think he's probably got one of those as well. It can't be Matt Irvin, because obviously it's quiz night at the pub. We know where Matt is. So it must be Simon Horton then, hasn't it?
Hello, greetings everybody. Yeah, we're back. And Lenny's in the building. Yep, welcome back. It's fantastic to be back again. Lenny, just calm down, mate. He's very excited. He's very, very excited.
He loves it. It's a happy new year. I know it's somewhat belated, but great.
Well, we're still in January, so it's still Happy New Year as far as I'm concerned. I'm still wishing people a Happy New Year. We're only a 12th of the way through the year.
It's not just me that does that, then.
No, I'm afraid not. But by the way, great new titles, Dan. Loving the new titles.
New titles. I know I've been dusting down the console room as well, but look what's happened in the time I've been away. Look what's moved in.
Oh no, Lenny, down boy.
You're away for a few weeks, and look what happens.
Yeah, Lenny just hasn't even clocked him, else he'd be going berserk.
I think, Simon, what we need is a cat whisperer, somebody who can get rid of these animals in a timely fashion, by fair means or foul. Now, next up, yes, so she is recovered and looking better than ever, but she doesn't need an entire restoration team to go at her and scrub her up to be re-released for all our pleasure. Yes, it's Starry-eyed girl Sarah Graham.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for that, Dan.
Hello, welcome.
That was a bit of a backhanded compliment.
Dan's full of them, you know he is.
Yes, I am. I'm much better. Thank you for everybody who reached out and got into it. And we have the best viewers that really care about this community, and it was very touching. Yes, Lenny, exactly.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to I've got to put he's urgent to go out, I'm afraid. Excuse me.
What's that going? What would you do? Sarah? How would you coax these felines out of our console because they're right in. One of them has made a bed in there.
Oh, yeah. Very easy. You just open a tin of tuna. That's what works for mantids.
There you go. A little bit of sense and reason, common sense, and a clear head. Speaking of which, with so much piss and wind flying around, pretty much wherever human beings gather to discuss anything, it's bad enough, but particularly when it comes to Doctor Who. So riding over the hillside, we find with her hair sort of lashing in the wind comes a queen who will cut away all of the nonsense, I'm happy to say. And I'm just over the moon that she's on our side. It must be Queen Charlotte Shields.
I wouldn't be on the other side, let's be fair. Let's be perfectly fair.
You're not going to turn her. She's not going to. Happy New Year, Charlotte. Great to have you back.
Happy New Year. Oh, no, it always feels, I know we say this every time, but it just feels forever when we have the little breaks. It just
but then when we come back again like this, it feels like we've never actually been apart. That's the bizarre thing.
Yeah, within 5 minutes we've got the same jokes to say.
Yeah.
Well, Dan has. I mean,
Dan has. Yes.
Yeah. Look, I'll stop cracking them if you stop laughing. That's lots more coming up. Of course there is. And lastly, but firstly, sort of, and that's a bit timey-wimey, very, very Moffat, but it's very, very true because he is the only real-life time traveller among us all. He's as animated as ever and raring to go, despite the fact it's heaven knows what time in the morning. But that's friendship for you, and that's Matt Pott for you, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Have you disappeared into kind of a void? Are you just floating in space?
Yes, I can't help it. I'm Peter Davison. I wish I had a cricket ball so I could throw it.
That's what you need, Matt. or you look like you're Tegan and you've just disappeared into the Mara netherworld.
I'm actually facing it isn't quite daylight yet, so it's only after 7. We're in the middle of summer here, so it's been a bit funny with the weather, but Tasmania always is. But yeah, it'll brighten up hopefully. Otherwise, I'll have to put the light on.
so
it works. It's good.
So Matt, eventually you'll get a proper halo around you when the light just all at once.
Yeah.
As if there isn't a halo around me already.
Come on, Matt. We know that's not happening anytime soon.
No, I know.
Oh. So we do weather, we do pets, we do food, and now and again, we do the world's longest-running, best-loved sci-fi and fantasy series, Doctor Who. Everyone, you'll be pleased to learn in between all the stuff and nonsense, all the news, all the views, the discussion, the nostalgia, and the banter. Lots more coming up as ever here at Type 40 Live. And it's being broadcast across the internet to numerous platforms. And some of them have joined us here in our very own live chat. They're adding comments as we speak. So I think it's time that we check in with them and see what they've got to say about all of this nonsense.
Hi guys, and welcome to Type 40.
How do, as they say in certain. And ahoy, Rimpling doubloon, Simon. It wouldn't have.
Welcome to the new year. It wouldn't be a new year if we didn't have an ahoy, shipmates from Crimpling doubloon, would it?
He was first in the chat, which is perfect.
He was first. He was very much first. Second in was Gary Akers, the retro doc himself. Welcome back.
Hello, Gary.
Welcome back, Gary. Very much one of us. Yes. We have Garbage, who says huge respect to Redacted for everything on screen and behind the scenes. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Garbage. Happy to have you back. Happy New Year to you. We have Matthew Butterfield in. We have Cinnamon Toast Crunch in as well.
Hello, Cinnamon.
Hey,
Hello.
glad to be back for another Type 40 Live. That's a fabulous item you've got there, isn't it, Charlotte? What is it? Oh, it is cinnamon. It is a piece of toast.
It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yes, Cinnamon
with a face.
It looks
Obviously.
It looks like Zippy after he sort of caught himself. In his own zip. That's the expression that I always pull when I catch myself. Although I haven't done it for a few years.
Or Zippy's been on a sun lounger too long.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of melted. Yeah.
It's actually, you know what it is? It's kind of the love child of Zippy and Cassandra from The End of the World. That's what it is.
So, Sandra, Matt, are you aware of Zippy and his work? Do you know who that is?
No,
Right, you've just got to go and Google rainbow and zippy.
Yeah.
I'm also guessing cinnamon toast is like a Pop-Tart, maybe.
No, it's like breakfast cereal. It's American actually. It's American, but it does. We get it over here as well.
No, we don't get it.
Golden Grahams. I think they're called Golden Grahams in America. I'm sure one of our American viewers will correct us on that.
I do know of a girl
Cinnamon.
called Cinnamon Toast, but she's like mattress actress. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Oh.
I have just made a model of a Cybermat, says T Dwarf Productions.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, we need to see a photo of this, Tom. Apparently, it's from it's a Tomb of the Cybermen Cybermat.
Yeah.
So we need a photo, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah, tease us with a good time. Hey, good day, all in the chat, says Peter Harrington. Is Peter down under for the duration, or was he always down under?
I think he's just channeling his inner Matt. That's what it is.
I think he is, yes.
Oh, I see. He's getting with it. He's getting with it. Sam's getting with it as well. Hello, all. Type 40 is back. Yay!
Yay, Sam.
Just one exclamation mark on the yay. So he's holding back a little there, but the back gets 3 or 4. So
Sounds very ominous.
Well, I've been told by Garbage I'm super loud. I'm sorry, Garbage. I'll bring it down a bit.
We'll change the habit of a lifetime. Be looking forward to this Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And hello, my lovelies. That's from you, Sarah. That's from you. Got people dropping icons as well and dropping truth bombs, including our mate Adam Charlton, aka the Geeks Handbag. Welcome back, guys. I bloody missed you. We bloody missed you.
Yes.
Where the bloody have you been?
Where are you? Where are you, Adam?
New Year, Adam. He's all over the place, this guy. I can't keep track.
Adam, you need to tell us about your other holiday you've been, which all sound lovely and we're jealous of you.
It's just not fair, is it?
Don't change your mind. No, he's not coming on. I don't want to hear about any more holidays.
Chris from Black Glove Studio is in as well. Yes, he's got
hi, Chris.
So many projects coming up from Chris. Hey, happy Burns supper. Good morning.
Oh, it is.
And evening.
It's Burns night, isn't it?
Is it really?
It's Burns night tonight. We should all be in sort of Scottish get-up, shouldn't we? Basically,
I've got a tartan. You have the Graham tartan. We have our blue and green. I ought to be modelling some. I've let you all down. I'm sorry.
You see, it's pointless mentioning it after the fact. Maybe next time. Hey, new Type 40 season from the one of the across the divide between YouTube channels there. The mighty Rabbi sends us a hey ho. And who else is here? Richard Brooks is here as well.
Hello, Richard.
Hi, Richard.
It's great to see all these names back, isn't it? They've actually come back. They've come back.
One born every minute, isn't that? Including Darren. Darren's here. Hello there, and welcome back. Welcome back to you too.
Thank you very much, Darren Atkin.
That's some lovely artwork, Darren. You've got a small avatar.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Probably AI generated.
Could be. Fly Highland says hi everyone, leaving no one out, leaving no one behind in Fly Highland. Yeah, good stuff. Oh God, there are lots of comments. This is absolutely fantastic. Does your Cybermat have felt on the bottom like the originals? That's a question.
Should do.
It should.
T-Dwarf.
For authenticity.
Yeah.
We'll have to
like having a felt bottom.
Oh, dear.
That's impressive, Matt, that you got there before Dan. So
well,
I've been learning from the best.
I was going to say, Dan's already said mattress actress, so I think
I did. Yes. We've got a Tartan Tartan, says Richard Brooks. Who's that?
Rude.
Is that you, Richard?
Rude, Richard.
I think he's talking about himself there, Richard. It's a confession live.
I'm just amazed to notice that Cinnamon Toast Crunch says never eaten Cinnamon Toast Crunch. How can you be called Cinnamon Toast Crunch? You've never even eaten the stuff. You might not like it.
You'd have to change your name.
Cinnamon.
It could be done under the Trade Bloody Descriptions Act.
Yeah, quite right. Right, next week, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, your mission is to go out and get a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Let us know whether you like it or not.
And I can pester you on Messenger if you don't.
It's really nice. Anybody that hasn't tried it, other breakfast cereals are available. But it is really good. It is really good.
we'll put the message out that CTC is a fraud. No, of course, but I'll tell you who could be. I don't know actually, because it depends on how busy they are. We've got Millie Gibson's agent is in the chat. With Chris Eccleston. Yes, we've got plenty to say about all of that too. I suspect I know the name of Millie's agent. Come to think of it, and yeah, people reminding one another to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Yeah, so I've given up reminding people to do that. Subscribe if you like. We'll be here, whatever. We've got Crimpling Doubloon there again. He says he eats nothing but crimpling doubloons. They're yummy. Those are things you get with lemon curd in the centre, Simon.
I don't know, but I think I might wake up in the middle of the night having had a cold sweat over that particular image.
Legendary 3D gamers here too. Look at that icon. That means business.
Hello.
With a simple hello. There's no fat on that. Hello to you too.
Hello.
Kirsty's here as well. Is it Kirsty?
Hello,
Yes, Kirsty,
Kirsty.
not Kirsty.
Hello, Kirsty.
And this is good stuff. So keep it all coming, everybody. Keep chatting to one another and back to us as we settle in to catch up on all things time and space and time. I'm never really sure which way around that's meant to be, Matt. Are you? You're the time traveller. Where would you put it? Time and space or space and time? Where would you go with that?
Time and space.
No, well, it was an adventure in space and time, wasn't it? So I'm going space and time.
No, I'm always different. I'm awkward.
Yeah, and the Pennington
Jules,
me agrees, and also S comes before T, so it's space and time.
Very good.
It could be that. It could be that simple. After all, of course, this is the Whoniverse, and nothing is ever simple. Whether we're talking about the classic series, we love the classic series here at Type 40 Live, or the new series, of course, of those fabulous doctors that brought the series back so effectively, and springboarding, of course, looking up and out into the Whoniverse as the all-new era is finally with us. Sort of. We'll take the pulse of everyone in the live chat a little later on, see where you are with it and with him and her and everything that's to come. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check you're still subscribed and hit the cloister bell so you get all our notifications too, including, he did, so why don't you?
I don't know, it's your podcast.
Just want video evidence.
Play this podcast.
What app have you got?
I don't know. We didn't. Oh, I know.
This is the best conversation I've ever been involved in.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to send that to myself.
Yeah.
Right? So I know it's you.
We'll see us all on there.
Okay.
You might change your mind when you see it. Don't say that, Sarah.
Yeah. Yes, this is Type 40 Live on the Type 40 channel, the home to our videos, podcasts, and live streams. And if you want the podcasts in your ears or up on your screen, you can find us across all major podcatchers, including Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music, and everywhere else as well. The Podbean, yes, there's our dedicated home feed at type40.podbean.com, including our latest episode, which is our podcast, our vodcast even, Simon, because this was filmed too, of our panel at Whoville back in last September with those fabulous guests, finally released out into the wild.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still buzzing about that. We just had such a cracking hour, and they were just the three of our guests were just such good. They were good sports, weren't they? And we got a big audience as well, and it was fantastic. It was just all
really
good.
Lovely. Yeah, we've heard Jonathan Carley. He's reached out and he's retweeted and reposted that, and he says, I feel like I should have said more. I could have said more because there were some big personalities up on that stage, not least of all us. There's some big gobs, including us. But it was fabulous. We had a brilliant time, and thank you to everybody who supported us and who's downloaded and streamed that episode of the show. More coming, of course. More interviews, news, and previews, deep dives and geek outs there on the Type 40 podcast. Also available, I should point out, just announced today, is this. Now, I've pre-ordered this, and the place I've pre-ordered it for even took the money right away. Before I don't like it when retailers do this, Matt, because they've only just announced when it's coming out. So it's out on the 12th of February. Well, this is...
They've got to make sure they have enough orders.
Oh, is that what it is? Yes. So I've ordered this from Rare Waves, and it's just been announced as being released on the 12th of February, and it's the Blu-ray. So it's only the Blu-ray at the moment, but it has to be out on DVD as well. So it's the Blu-ray of The Church on Ruby Road, so we can add that to our at-home collection from Monday, the 12th of February. And this adventure, of course, saw the 15th Doctor make his full debut, taking control of the TARDIS and heading off onto a confrontation, didn't he? A first meeting with his new companion, Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson there. And they were running across rooftops and doing all sorts of things there on Christmas Day. Review upcoming on the Type 40 podcast. Don't you worry about that. And lots more to get stuck into here at Type 40 Live. Yes, so what we'd like to know is what you think of all of that, where you are with the new Doctor, with the new companion, and whatever's to come as we make our way through the rest of the year. Because it's, although it does feel a little bit like the year after the year before, you've just woken up from a party, Simon. It's very much still playtime.
I think you're maybe alluding to, that wonderful ABBA song, Happy New Year, that I love. It's the end of the party and the morning seems so grey, so unlike yesterday. That's probably how I feel at the moment, but there we go. That's another story.
But obviously last year was the big anniversary, and it should take a long time to come down from something like that. In truth, I think it's left fandom feeling a little deflated. Sarah, how do you feel looking back on it now?
Yeah, I think you're being far too diplomatic, John. Yeah, it's very flat as a pancake. Yeah.
We spent all that time, didn't we, talking about it?
And to be honest, I think the build-up was more fun because we had so much fun speculating and getting together. We had our own, Type 40 get-togethers, and we were celebrating the anniversary. Now, we started doing those reviews. I know we've still got some more to come, and just delving back in to classic Who and old new Who. I don't know what we call it now. And then, so, we built up. We got this momentum, and then it happened, and it was just, and things worked. Things have worked better than others. I know some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. But it should have been, it should have been like the 50th. It should have just been wow, and we all should have been dazzled. And the fact that I feel like we're still as divided as ever, and in some ways I think it's worse, because we the Georgie thing, you can just leave it, but things like Destination Scaro, where he's going backwards and he's messing with classic Who. He's in some ways it's worse than what Chibnall did, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's also because it's such a big disappointment, Sarah, because we had such high expectations, or some of us did.
I know, and many people. I mean, we've said it on this stream, but I've heard it on many other podcasts as well. That, to me, I think it was like Destination Scaro was like the pinprick. It was the balloon was blowing up, and just bam, and it's all just kind of falling apart. I think the Christmas special kind of got some people excited, but there's still so much caution at the moment, and obviously we've got a few more months to wait, and the news that's circling around at the minute, doesn't it? Oh dear, it just seems a bit of a mess, doesn't it? So yeah, I kind of just feel like, oh, was that it?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, and I'm talking more the fan base here, not the general audience, I think the fan base wanted the 60th to feel like a proper get-together celebration of the fact that this show has got to 60. That's a big milestone. It's not an easy milestone to get, and it should have. For me, it really felt like Russell was just celebrating himself. He was celebrating his era, his Doctor, his characters, instead of actually doing what it should have been, which was here's all of Who like classic new Who, lots of the Doctors, even if we couldn't get them in the show. Moffat at least managed to do that whole thing with the footage he used in the 50th to technically get them as part of the story. And it just felt like, to me, Russell had no interest in trying to celebrate 60 years. And I think we really wanted that as a fandom.
To be fair, I'm again playing devil's advocate, which does tend to be my role on the show sometimes. We can't be privy to the conversations and the conditions that could have been there that led to Russell returning to the series in the first place. Maybe that something like that was never on the cards, could never have happened. I suppose we'll never really know. All we can really judge, as you've said by Charlotte, is by what's laid before us and how it makes us feel. And I enjoyed the specials more than a lot of people did. But even I, once it got past, say, Boxing Day, that lull period between Christmas and New Year, and I mean, I can't stand the New Year anyway. I'm a Christmas person, not a New Year person. But there was that feeling, Matt, as if to say, oh, was that it? It's like I was waiting for another special. You know, like it was all building to something that hadn't arrived. And now here on Type 40 Live, in particular, we brought you unequaled, dedicated, fun coverage week by week, sometimes twice a week, with varied opinions across all our panels, building through those three specials to the dawn of this second restart of the series, again under the guardianship of Russell T Davies, who's a more contentious figure now than he's ever been. And that was very much our pleasure, wasn't it, Simon? But we're human beings too, as well as fans, and you can only judge by what you feel and how each of us may feel, may see, may read it, and may see the situation in front of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly, you know, I have been very vocal in that I really didn't like any of the last 4 episodes, and I can't even bring myself to call them specials because they weren't specials. It was a mini series. Let's be honest, it was just a mini series. They were not specials. They didn't feel special. So to call them specials is just a misnomer. That it was just a mini series. They were just episodes, and it's pretty much lost me. It's ditched me. I feel set adrift. It's clear that I'm not really welcome at the table of what Doctor Who is these days. I don't feel particularly welcome. It feels exclusive, feels elitist, it feels smug and self-satisfied. It feels very much like Russell really doesn't care what anybody thinks. He really just wants to bang his own drum, and you're either with him or you're against him. You will either sing his praises as this is the best thing Doctor Who's ever been, or you're against him, and thus you're an enemy. And it's just, I agree, Sarah. I find it really upsetting that fandom was so divided by the Chibnall-Whittaker era. And as much as I was very much against Russell T Davies coming back, I did at least kind of have faith that he would bring fandom back together, even if it wasn't me personally. I felt that fandom would feel as a whole as a result. And you're right, Sarah, it feels more divided than it did even under Chibnall, and that's quite some achievement.
And also
that word smugness, it definitely is something that's sort of hanging in the air, Charlotte. I'm not, as I say, I've gone on record quite a lot of saying I'm a fan of Russell's work, and I'll forgive him a lot. Yeah. But there is this air of smugness that really that I find distasteful, Charlotte.
And it's not just smugness, and I think we can obviously get more into depth when we do our reviews. But for me, I'm already seeing little traits in the writing that I'm like, oh, that needs to get nipped in the bud. That needs to change a bit. We can't have that carrying on into the first proper series. And I shouldn't feel that after 3 episodes of the new run already going, oh, because for me, at times, Russell was lazy in the writing. There were shortcuts in the writing. There was stuff that I think goes to what you're saying with this smugness. Like, he doesn't have to put the effort in almost. He doesn't have to do certain things because he's Russell T Davies. That's what it feels like now in some of the writing. And that was a big difference I felt.
It feels very much to me, Charlotte, as though he's making the show in his images exactly he wants it, in a very selfish way, and he just doesn't care whether other people like it and go along with it or not. He just doesn't care. He's living in his own little
I'm very
world.
much starting to come around to that way of thinking and consider their aspirations for this show globally. That's very, very strange. I've got a comment here from CTC who says it's a bit like Christmas. The build-up can sometimes be better than the actual day. How do you feel about it, Matt?
Look, I mean, when I came into this after 6 months being totally free of any sort of controversy or anything like that. So, but the more I watched it each week, I felt like the ratings pretty much, and the more I wasn't excited for every week, whereas previously I had been. And it was just a strange feeling of emptiness, and just not feeling like it was. I was rolling my eyes a lot when I was watching it.
Do you feel, Matt? Do you feel like I feel that it just feels like there's almost a sort of a bad taste left in the mouth, which is how it feels to me?
See, the thing is, the difference between you and me, Simon, is that you had watched some of the previous era. I hadn't, so I'd been trying to go into this fresh, and so I had that I gave it a chance. I really, really did, and while I was sitting there watching it, like I said, I'd be watching it and I'd be like, this is just, I get the feeling of it. I had two types of feelings, actually. I kind of felt like this was the new era again. And then all of a sudden this bombshell would drop. And by that first episode, I was numb, because I was like, he did what we had all hoped he wouldn't. And I just felt like I felt so embarrassed to be a Doctor Who fan in that Star Beast episode. I felt really, whereas before, even though I wasn't watching it, I wasn't embarrassed to be a Doctor Who fan.
I mean, I think it's one thing to no, I don't want to say fixate, but to circle certain aspects of each individual episode, because I think there's lots. That's what Doctor Who fans. That's what we are. We can be quite picky. And this is such a big show, and our connections are so subjective. But generally, en masse, I do think we've been served a little bit of. I mean, I think the Geeks Handbag. I think Adam in the chat says a damp squib. I'm not even sure what a squib is, but I agree. I agree with that. And the tone of the actual show. And I say, for the most part, I enjoyed it, but it had that kind of homogenized transatlantic feel to it, as if we were going somewhere, but we're not going to get there yet. We're going to keep you waiting. It's kind of all tip and no shaft. And I cannot get on board with that way of delivering. I know. I don't know. But I can't get on.
I'm sorry, everyone.
That way of delivering what is supposed to be an international brand on a global stage, on an international streaming platform. All these things they're loudly trumpeting.
You know what it feels, Dan, and this you're right in what you're saying. And what really surprises me is it feels lazy. You know, to me that is and that's a really damning criticism, that something is lazy, and that's how it feels. It feels that it's just. I don't know whether Russell gets the feeling that he just doesn't have to try hard anymore. I think it's touching on what you were saying, Charlotte. He just feels that it's good it's Russell's vision. I can't even call him Russell, sorry. It's Davis's vision. And because I can't be dealing with Chummy Chum. We've always called him Russell. He doesn't deserve this anymore. It's Davis's vision. And it feels lazy, and it feels like you either roll with it or you're not on board.
This is what happens when a corporation, a global corporation, Sarah, goes to one individual cap in hand. It happened with Chris Chibnall. I mean, to be fair, they went sort of cap in hand to Russell in the first place 20 years ago, but the landscape was very different then. They pretty much went to him cap in hand. The show had been cancelled. They got this intellectual property that was worth millions, if not billions. He could literally rewrite it exactly as he wished, with as much effort in, or as little, or as much as he wanted. The sense here in the chat says here, there's a sense of treading water and of playing safe about this. And I agree with that. And that's not how the series felt 20 years ago. It felt vibrant, alive, like it was heading somewhere revolutionary, Sarah. And it doesn't have that now. I know it's kind of early days. We still feel on the threshold of this all new era, even though it's technically begun. Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I remember counting down to the Christmas invasion, and that was a good 6 months we had to wait to see the new Doctor, and it was agonising, and it was even more agonising when David Tennant didn't really appear till the last 20 minutes. But everything about that episode was perfect. The story, the lead up, the build up, the threat. What Rose was going through was what everybody else was going through was new. We're like, who is this stranger? And then when it finally came and he had that moment, and then you couldn't wait until the following March for that series.
It was like that,
and I just didn't get that from the church on Ruby Road. I didn't have that connection.
I think the problem is, and this is how I'm feeling like ultimately at the moment with Who, I don't know what I'm going to get writing and tone-wise. I feel like Russell will do a brilliant scene. Like, for example, some of the stuff with the toy maker, for me, worked really well in the giggle. Some of the scenes I thought were brilliantly creepy and was sort of, once again, it was Russell tapping into stuff that he did really well last time. And then we'll have a scene which I feel like a completely different almost person is writing the script. And it just, I think that's the problem. Fans feel like they haven't got a good grasp yet. And we've had 4 specials, and Russell's quality of writing and what he's doing with the show is in such like you can have a good scene and then you go down, and then a good scene, it's just, I feel a bit all over the place because of what the specials were now. I feel like I can't really pin what the show is or what he's going to give me.
Well, I mean, it's funny, Charlotte, because I get your feeling, and one thing that sort of strikes me as I was watching them is that on the one hand, his writing is very, very confident when it comes to being woke and banging his agenda. But when it comes to actually writing a damn good story that is going to engage people, it's very unconfident writing. And so it seems to me that the point he's coming from is to bang his drum. And so it's then a case of just fitting the storyline around that. The story feels secondary to whatever he's trying to peddle to us, and it just feels very elitist, as I say, very exclusive to you've got to be an RTD acolyte. That's what it is. We're kind of talking the day God went mad here. He's got delusions of grandeur, I feel. And so he loves his acolytes around him that all agree with him and praise him. And those are maybe some of the people that work with him, I don't know, and some of the fans that follow him. But he's losing people. It's as simple as that. It's obvious.
Yeah, and I don't think he's got his finger on the pulse with TV that he did, 19, 20 years ago.
Oh, no.
Is he too old, do you think, Sarah? Is he too past it, literally?
I don't know if it's an age thing or just his ideology.
His ego.
Could be ego. I mean, he has had a lot of success. He is talented, and that's the most frustrating thing. I'm not seeing that talent coming through.
I don't want to look at the age thing too much, Sarah, because I'm trying not to, because I agree with you. I think he hasn't, whatever he had before, he hasn't got it at the moment. And I did wonder, is it his age? He's coming up to 61 years of age. And I had a word with myself. I thought, no, because you've got people like Jimmy McGovern who are senior
good point.
to Russell T Davies and are still capable of writing something like Time Series 1 that still feels so now and so cutting edge and so and like they're moving forward but roundly satisfying. So I have to say that my conclusion for the moment, and there's still a lot of evidence to bring before the jury. My conclusion for the moment is that he's become ideologically captured and intellectually compromised.
Mm-hmm. I think that's very, very fair.
He's not the biggest, highest mind to have been seduced in that manner, is he? Just a writer.
The writing seems like really bad fan fiction. And
it does,
like something like, and it doesn't look like Doctor Who. It's more like 50 Shades of Grey. And
it's interesting, Matt, because
it's like a gay, I'm not gay
I don't know
or anything like that, but it's like a gay man's fantasy.
I'm
not into
that. There is undoubtedly, I've said this before now, that I do think that there is an element that Davis is living out some sort of gay fantasy through Ncuti. I do get that feeling. As a gay man myself, I can kind of recognise, I think, a little bit of what's going on. I honestly think that having Ncuti running around in very little other than underpants for the first half an hour of his screen time, I'm sorry, but that is a gay man's fantasy. It is as simple as that. And I've said it before now. If we'd introduced the Jodie Whittaker Doctor running around for half an hour in her underpants, people would have been crucified for misogyny. But it's okay for a gay writer to put a good-looking man in nothing but underpants and have him run around for a family audience. It's hypocritical beyond acceptability, and that he lost 100% of my respect with that scene, because it's just unacceptable to say it's okay for a man to run around in underpants, but it wouldn't be acceptable for a woman. Quite rightly, it wouldn't be acceptable for anybody really to be running around in their underpants.
Yeah, and the first thing I'd be looking for is for a pair of pants.
And I don't know how you guys feel as well. I feel like he has put Ncuti, he's almost handicapped him from the start.
Yes.
Interesting. Why?
Well, because of how he got introduced in the giggle. I think that we should, if he wanted Ncuti in that episode, we should have just had a normal regeneration, and he should have been at the end, and he should have been the one to face the Toy Master.
Good point.
That would have been a really nice way to say, here's the new Doctor. He's straight away up there. He's straight away fixing a big problem. He's against a big bad like the Toy Maker. It would have been a lovely way to establish Ncuti as the Doctor going forward.
Carry on.
And also, because of the way it happened, we still have a 10th Doctor running around in the universe. So even if we don't get a spin-off, technically we have 2 Doctors still in the universe who could have TARDISes, who can do things. So that's going to be overshadowed, because Tennant is still a massive figure when it comes to this show. He's still, in the common consciousness, a big actor. He's still one of our big names actors, if you think about it. And I just think he's done certain things that is just setting Ncuti up almost to fail, which I think is such a shame.
Interesting,
because I think Ncuti got the potential. And if I'm being honest, one for me of the bright spots still, we'll have to see more. I think that's the caveat we've got for most of what we're saying for this. But with Ncuti, off that first special, I saw a potential for a really good Doctor there. And I'm annoyed that I do think Russell's, like I said, handicapped him.
I mean, again, you wonder almost whether it is just, I know I keep using this word, but it is smugness with Davis that again, he just feels like he can do anything with this new Doctor, because I genuinely think power has gone to his head. I really do think this. And I remember saying this, 18 months ago, that by being pulled back to the show to rescue it, because that's how behind the scenes, well, in front, it was unspoken by all of fandom, and it was unspoken by the industry, but it was obvious we were all thinking the same thing. He had been brought
how
back.
How many people come and told us in confidence?
Of course. And quite right, it made totally logical sense that if you're going to bring anybody back to rescue, in inverted commas, the show, it would be RTD. But I remember fearing at the time that is it going to go to his head? And I genuinely feel that's what we're seeing. And so, yes, Charlotte, with what you're pulling out about the characterization of the new Doctor, it's almost sort of lazy because Russell just thinks that he just has to write these words, and part of it, I think he just believes his own hype now. I think it's as simple as that, and he has been hyped up so much in recent years, not just for Doctor Who, but for Queer as Folk, for what was the gay. Well, it's a sin. It's a sin. He's received accolade after accolade, and I think he simply believes his own hype.
Yes, as somebody who's enjoyed pretty much everything he's ever done, I must say that taking a few steps back, the TV industry has blown smoke up Russell's arse for 20 plus years. Maybe that's going to change anybody. I don't know. I think, Sarah, that he means well. I do.
I don't. I disagree. Sorry, Sarah.
I'm afraid I have to disagree. I thought that for a long time, Dan. But how he has been.
You've met him. I have met him, but I met him before he was famous. I haven't met him. Yeah, you met him a few years ago.
I met him in 2019 when he was still sane. Yeah, so he was. Yeah,
he had his feet on the ground.
Yes, he. I think he was trying to be clever with this Spy Generation. I think he was thinking, what's a clever way to get another Doctor into the 60th? Instead of having one from the past, we'll have one from the future. But I just don't think he's fully thought it through what it means. And what he has done is, like Charlotte rightly said, at the first hurdle, he's cheapened this Doctor to me, and I think it is for a lot of fans as well, he's no more of a Doctor than the Meta-Crisis Doctor. It's that kind of, like when Donna says, oh, you're like worms, you've just split yourself. That's what it feels like. And because David is still in this universe, it just completely, like, nullified.
Obviously,
and that's wrong.
Obviously, though, these little aspects of each individual episode are going to play with each of us differently. I haven't got a problem with any of that. I think all of that is really open to interpretation, and a lot of the things that some of the fandom has spat the dummies over hasn't affected me in any negative way whatsoever, and yet that feeling of deflation is still out there. That aroma of not staleness, I won't say staleness, but of a kind of blandness, which I don't associate with the work of Russell T Davies. Anything he's ever done. I know you didn't like It's a Sin, Simon, but could you honestly say that it was bland?
No, you're 100%. You're quite correct. No, one thing he's never done is bland. Absolutely.
That's what worries me about this. We were so excited, weren't we? We were so excited, Matt, when we saw the diamond logo reappear around 18 months ago.
Best choice he ever did.
Yeah,
but it was the like me, Matt, you work in design. I've been a graphic designer for 30 years. This was the fastest rebrand right across the board, across multimedia, that I have ever seen from right the way throughout my career. It happened literally overnight. As soon as the last production closed, this just swept across the cultural landscape, and now we've got the diamond logo attached to this new era. I do hope, Matt, that it can prove worthy of it in the long run, because it would be a shame. It would be a shame to sully it.
Just like that logo, to me so far the show is hollow. It's look, the thing for me is that it feels like RTD is continuing on from where he left off, because he's run out of ideas and now he's just running out on steam. He's there's nothing juicy in there whatsoever as far as entertainment's concerned. It all just seems to be ideological, political grandstanding, and he doesn't give a hoot about what it means to be a Doctor Who fan. He doesn't. He has run out of ideas.
Well, it's interesting, Matt. It is interesting because somebody in the chat said earlier, and I can't remember who it was, sorry to you, but somebody pointed out that when Russell left, he said, I'd run out of ideas. I've got no more ideas left. So what are you doing back? Because you clearly have run out of ideas. I have to say, Dan, you mentioned the diamond logo, which we all, hailed the return of. It's a kick in the teeth. It does not. The current show going out calling itself Doctor Who does not deserve that diamond logo on it as branding. It simply doesn't.
No, it's not.
And to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of it. I mean,
it.
It's not on the DVDs. It's not on. It's not on those beautiful Blu-rays that they're releasing that has nothing to do with RTD. Thank God. But it just doesn't. It doesn't harken back. That's the only bit that harkens back to what.
Yeah, it's pointless. It's pointless doing it. Pointless putting that logo on.
Yeah, you should have had another one. Lots of rainbows.
Does it just feel corporate?
It feels token. That's what it feels, Dan. It feels tokenism. Just to say that, right? Okay, it's almost desperation because it's trying to say, look, we know this looks nothing like Doctor Who, but we're still calling it. They've hijacked a show. They've hijacked a brand. That's what they've done. Well, that's what I think Davis has done. He's hijacked the brand of Doctor Who and he's recast it in his own image and his own ego, and sticking that diamond logo on there, as they feels almost a kick in the teeth to me.
We've got a comment here from Nigel David, which I don't necessarily agree with, Nigel, in full disclosure, but I can see why someone like Nigel would get to this place, and it's up to Russell and everybody else to drag him back, kicking and screaming, Nigel, kicking and screaming. But Nigel says in the live chat, he's watching on YouTube, says the true fans have nothing to look forward to or get excited for anymore, because in the 60th, to him was just poo. So it's a case of, well, if I can't get excited for a big anniversary, then when can I? It's up to them that make this show to reach out. And obviously Nigel's I'm sure he's more than aware. He's only one aspect of a large mainstream audience, but he still matters. People, and I do wonder, this is a problem with right across the BBC, that they've forgotten that, and there's a hollowness. Matt, you're right. There's a hollowness to all their programming. We don't need hollow. We need the opposite of hollow, which may be mega. And the funny thing about mega is that we have a consignment of mega waiting here in the green room, ready to come on. Now, when I last tracked him, I've got a tracker on this man's phone, so I know where he is most of the time. He doesn't know this. And when my phone last told me where he was scrambling around the Battersea branch of Iceland. I'm not sure what he was doing in there, but he has made his way back to the web.
Looking for food, I would imagine.
He's here after all. Yeah, we don't know whether he came back with his quarry or not, but we do have the mega geek Ian David Dears back on the show. Hello, mate.
Hello, Ian.
Hey. Terrible big introduction, isn't it? Awful.
It's exactly what you deserve.
It's written by.
They get worse the later you are. The later you come in.
Yeah, it's your own fault. You didn't hear ours. You didn't hear our intros.
Yeah, it's errors.
Yeah.
I had work,
great to see you, but
I had work. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you're just in time because we've been entertaining with the live chat here. We've got your mate Nigel David there in the live chat. He's added his two penneth. And we've been talking about Ncuti Gatwa and Russell T Davies and all that kind of stuff. It's a cheap trick, says Kirsty. I'm not sure what she means, but
the logo, I would imagine, the diamond logo, probably. And I agree, Kirsty.
Yeah, I'd just add to what Nigel said about, I think fans haven't got anything new to look for, as in the new Who that's coming, but we have got other outlets for our Doctor Who that are considerably more exciting.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be. We should be excited by the new show, shouldn't we, Sarah? That's the frustrating thing.
And some people
are certainly very
are,
excited to see.
Some
People are certainly very excited to see the mega geek here. So the strange thing about Doctor Who, where we are now in 2024, Ian, is that we're still waiting, really, or at least I'm still waiting for something to really get my teeth stuck into. New characters and stories and monsters and all that kind of thing. But production on all new Doctor Who is now so far advanced that the new cast of Doctor Who, the fresh TARDIS team, are kind of the old new cast already. So this has been what's kicking off here while we've been away, because it was the Mirror broke an unconfirmed report last week that Millie Gibson, who plays Ruby Sunday, that she was out already. And we've literally just met the Doctor's latest companion. We've not seen this girl take a single trip in the TARDIS yet, but apparently this 20-year-old actress, former Coronation Street star that a lot of people in Britain have watched grow up on that show. You know, she's very well talked about and very well liked. It seems like she's been succeeded by another companion, an actress already. Now, the reports surrounding this story use kind of language that I'm not sure do represent the true chain of events. It's all very colourful, dropped, axed, all that kind of thing. Millie dropped as Time Lord assistant, and look who's news, says the Daily Mirror there. Look who's gone. You know, the tabloids have always gone down this road with this kind of coverage, haven't they, Simon? You know, it's there to sell newspapers at the end of the day, isn't it? That's the business that they're in. Don't hate the player, hate the game, and all that kind of thing. But this is not good publicity for Doctor Who, is it? I mean, the same newspaper last year had ran a story that Doctor Who star Millie Gibson had been branded a diva, and that she hadn't taken well to recording night shoots on Doctor Who. So the Mirror has been following the production for quite some time, quite closely. But even so, I think they've gone in pretty hard on Millie Gibson here, when we can't possibly know the true nature of this seeming departure.
Yeah, but that's exactly it, Dan. We don't know the nature. Maybe there is a reason why they've gone in hard on it. It's always difficult to tell. I mean, okay, yeah, you're quite right. The red tops are always going to, they want the sensationalist angle on this. But it does appear, if this information is correct, it does appear that she has been dropped, axed, whatever the word would be, rather than she's left herself. That from what I'm hearing and out there and in the various reports that are floating around, it does appear that her contract has not been renewed, or you know, whatever the circumstances. Again, we don't know, and to be clear, we are very much just speculating here. But we're certainly not hearing anything that says Millie Gibson has decided to leave, has chosen to leave. That's what we're not hearing. So the inference is that she has been, her services are no longer required by the production for whatever reason. That
on the other hand, though, it would be lunacy to put out a press release announcing the departure of an actress, any talent at all, when they're yet to properly appear in the series that they've been.
Well, I mean, even Christopher Eccleston had a week.
Well, no, he didn't. He had 48 hours.
But
I mean, to be fair, he still only got one episode, didn't he? He only got one episode before it was announced he was leaving. To me,
this is a simple byproduct of filming a series this far in advance.
Yeah, we do have to be careful on this. We've got to be careful not to read too much into it. We don't know the full story. We still don't know the full story on Christopher Eccleston. How many years? Nearly 20 years later. So you've got to cut Millie Gibson some slack. We don't know the circumstances, and we may never find them out.
Whatever happened, this looks bad for the show, because
it does. You're right.
How can you be invested, especially when the Christmas special was centered around Ruby? And you've only got 8 episodes, and then I know there's rumours that she might pop up in the second series, but that's really not helping your cause, especially when you're gambling on this young team to get the young people in.
The difficulty, you know what strikes me, Sarah. The difficulty with this is, and it all comes back to I've certainly spoken about this in the past about the hyperbole that comes out of BBC generally, but RTD's mouth specifically. And the problem is when we're constantly being told how brilliant it is to have Millie Gibson on. Oh, she's fantastic. Oh, she blew us all away at the audition. Oh, you can't believe how brilliant this companion is going to be. Oh, now she's going. It's impossible to get invested in these characters that we bludgeoned into believing is the best thing that's ever happened to the show, when they're only there for 5 minutes and then for whatever reason they just disappear unceremoniously. It's just, how can you get behind them? It's impossible to do.
Well, also, like when this news broke, I thought back to, okay, let's think back to if this is true. Martha and Bill, they were technically one series companions back in the new run. But here's
this is hardly unheard of.
No, but here's the difference, and this is what I was thinking about. They had 13 episodes. That is, in comparison, a lot more time for a companion to get settled, to get developed, for you to sort of buy into their character. Because a lot happened to Martha in her one series. A lot happened to Bill. And you felt their weight of them being there. And if Millie's only got 8 full series episodes and maybe 1 or 2, if this report's true in the second series, it's going to feel like she has not got the time. Because here's the other aspect. Also, I thought back to that comparison in my head. When Martha came, Tennant was an established Doctor. He'd already had one series. Same with Peter Capaldi. He'd already had a companion before he had Bill. So you didn't need to do a lot of legwork and groundwork with their doctors. So you could really focus in on the companion. We've got a new Doctor. We've got Ncuti. We need to get to know him as well. We need to get to have his Doctor developed and his storylines play out. So the more I thought about this, I was like, Russell, you have given yourself so little time, if this is true, to do some core tenets here of your writing that you need to get done. Like I said, so that's my thing about this, if it's true.
Yeah.
Are we going to have the time, and is Russell going to have the time to fully flesh out Millie and Ruby?
I mean, to me, I agree with you, Sarah. I think this sends out intentionally or not, simply the wrong signal. I think we've got to think about not us, not the fan base, but how the general public will receive this. And to me, it's an indicator that audience appeal of this character, whether you take to her or not, it's not remotely in the equation. It's whether we're permitted to invest in her or not. It's sort of by the by. The Radio Times have gone with an article in the wake of this, and they claim that it's all far from over, and that Ruby will appear in more of season 2 than is being speculated upon at the moment. But of course, it's a time where we have no report, we have no press release from any of the producers, any of the talent involved. Nobody is saying a word about this. So it's natural that the fan base, that the press continue to speculate. We've got a comment here from Jack in the Nerd Den in the live chat, and he says, I can't lie, the news about Millie Gibson has rubbed me up the wrong way. I think that the BBC, Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf not commenting on this isn't a good look, especially when she's been axed. So that's very much transmitting to people. Yeah. Ian, do you think that it's their responsibility to say something when there's so much speculation, if not to us, then to the actress in the equation entirely? Or is that how it should work? Because it's not to have this out there, a story that somebody was unprofessional, that somebody has been sacked, and then to keep completely stum. Should they say something?
Yeah, of course they should say something. But you know, if she was a diva on set, and if she was that bad, they will never ever disclose that information, because that's being professional. So they should really say something, whether it be a lie or whether it be just exaggeration. But this goes to show what modern TV shows are like these days. They couldn't give a shit about the fans at all. And quite frankly, and as me and Simon agree, we're kind of done with this Doctor Who. So, you know, what can I say?
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, Ian? Because you would think that at minimum they would just put out a
Something,
just a polite statement that didn't commit themselves one way or another. They didn't. You're quite right. Of course, as I say, we've never found out the full reasons behind Eccleston leaving, and we never will. But then again, when Eccleston left, it was handled very differently to how Millie Gibson has been, because they did immediately make, for better or worse, they made statements. And so you just feel the problem with not making a statement is, you're right, Dan, to the fan base, but also to the general public. It looks like a show in crisis. It looks like a show who isn't in a very healthy place. It doesn't look. It's a very different position now to, say, 2005, when the show felt in a healthy state. This feels like a sick show, an ailing show. It should have been rested. It really should have been rested. I said it a couple of years ago. I stand by it. It should have been rested. It needed it. Still needs it now.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch says it's not fair, and that this is unnecessary gossip around a young actress, and the producers are not helping.
Correct.
Kirsty asks, are they going to be at any cons this year? Well, I was not thinking so much about the cons, but there's got to be an entire...
We've been conned.
You think about it, come May, this thing's being launched. 8 episodes are going to be launched globally. There's going to be a publicity circus around this. There's going to be red carpet. There's going to be screenings. There's going to be the One Show, all that kind. And now it's international. There could be big American shows as well. And so is Ncuti and Millie going to be there together? If there's any bad blood, any animosity, any accusations of unprofessional conduct, I mean, I know that they'll have to be seen to be professional in front of a camera, but we just don't know. I suppose we have to, again, we've got another wait ahead of us to see how it's all going to play out, and maybe we'll be able to judge more then.
But the problem is, Dan, that's all well and good, but you've got to feel invested in the show to want to keep waiting. And certainly, as Ian has just said, for he and I'm done waiting. I'm pretty much out. It's run out of steam for me.
I think Doctor Who fans have spent so much time over the last 4 or 5 years, if not 6 or 7 years, waiting for something, going from wait to wait to wait to wait.
Do you know the other thing as well? The other thing that's interesting, Dan, is however much we sort of reviled the Chibnall years, the one thing the Chibnall years never was smug. It was never full of its own self-importance. Never. Well, yeah, absolutely. But neither has this era either. And so the Chibnall stuff just kind of got put out there, and you either liked it or you don't.
No fanfare. Yeah, very much. Just
no fanfare.
I mean, I'll say this for Chibnall. Obviously, it did some very bizarre ideas. I cannot recall him being nasty to any fans who dared.
Yeah.
And not even
he wasn't nasty because he was hiding.
Talk to anybody, literally anybody.
But it was a better approach to take. He did just kind of chuck his stuff out there and leave it to sink or swim. Whereas the thing is with this, yet again, it's down to the hyperbole. We're constantly being told this is the best Doctor Who has ever been, and you can only bang that drum for so long.
Oh no, I just had another thought. It's not just the what you said, Dan, with the press stuff. This is an era that's going to have a lot more behind the scenes stuff we're going to see. We've got Unleashed, we've got commentary tracks. They are purposefully almost trying to show more of the production this time.
Charlotte,
round.
maybe it'll be another spin-off show. Doctor Who Unleashed, Doctor Who Unemployed. It could be.
So that's the thing. Like now we've Unleashed. When those episodes go out, and we still don't know. We're going to go like, well, if they're going like, oh, we love it. It's so much fun. Doing the usual commentary we usually see. We're going to go, well, maybe that's not true because you may be gone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I personally think that if you disagree with this version of Doctor Who, don't watch it. You know, it's as simple as that. It's you know, it's you know, Doctor Who is part of my heart, and same thing with Matt as well, and Simon. And you know, we know that this isn't Doctor Who. So if you don't like it, just leave. Just don't watch the show anymore.
You know what?
People like it, they can watch it.
Really, you know what though, Ian? This is the bit that really irks me, is the fact that there are so many dickheads going around at the moment telling people to no. Look, I'm going to be. No,
I'm not. It's the turn of phrase, Matt.
Okay, there are so many old fossils and that going around at the moment saying.
No, I think Matt. I think you're probably right the first time.
Yeah, I think you were.
Thank you. Well, yeah. But the thing is, there's too many of them saying, if you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
This is a show that we have looked after and cared about and protected, and for how many years? Like each generation. How many generations has this show created of people and fans?
And Matt, we want to like it, don't we? That's the point. We want to like it.
Yeah, and why should I leave? This is the thing. I thought, I left for 6 years because I thought, you know what, this era is not for me. I can see it going in another direction that I'm not really onto. So I'm happy to go and come back. But when I come back and then they're telling me to leave again if I don't like it, I mean, it's like, you know what?
It's the tone.
I'm not leaving.
They don't understand how it works. Like, well, if you want it to be a success, who's paying for these Blu-rays? Who's paying for these figures?
No, they do want it to be a success, Sarah. They do want it to be a success. I just show an example, right, of what the fans want. You see that short with Leela? And the Daleks and stuff. I loved it. I loved the idea that she appeared in the TARDIS and Tom Baker looks up like that. And I thought I wanted it to carry on. I was like, please give me some more. And then it stopped. Right. And you know how many people saw that on YouTube? More so than the trailer for the shooting one.
I can believe it.
That's just telling you what people want. And they don't care. It's obvious they don't care about us. All they want to do is do what they want to do. So therefore, goodbye.
And see, the thing is that they want to dissect that, and they want to go, well, a lot of those that trailer for Shooty was on BBC at the time, but guess what? It wasn't on Disney Plus, so people had to go on YouTube to see it there.
I just want to come back to what I just want to come back to what you were saying for a moment, Matt. In that the things that dickheads say. And I disagree. I think it's you're right, mate. You're right. Don't apologize. But the thing is, it's not what's been said. It's the way in which it's delivered, the tone in which it's said. It's a case of this. It's almost as if to say, well, it was yours, but it's not yours anymore. So have two of these and take some change. And I don't agree with any of that. I do agree with the idea, as Ian was saying, in that. Quite frankly, for example, I buy my vegetarian bolognese from the supermarket. If I go into the supermarket, I love this bolognese. I buy a couple of cans every few weeks. Absolutely adore it. I go into the supermarket, right, and I notice they've changed the label, and there's a flash on the label saying with new improved recipe. So I buy a couple of cans, take it back, try the new improved recipe, and I don't like it. Think now it's up to me whether I continue. So change the recipe. Do I continue to buy that product? Or
of course you don't. You stop buying.
With my wallet, I stop buying it because I'm not enjoying it anymore because I find it distasteful. And that is what, as a punter, as somebody who's I am in the market for vegetarian bolognese. I have not been served a product that is fit for my consumption. Therefore, I will not part with my money for it any further. So I would encourage people, and this is right across the board, if people are serving you a product, whatever product it is, and you don't enjoy it anymore, don't pay for it, don't consume it, vote with your wallet, go off and eat something that does taste the way you want it to taste, or watch a TV show that makes you happy, because you only get one life and you shouldn't have to endure hours upon hours and hours of something that simply makes you unhappy. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this show means so much to us, but that connection is very, very subjective. I'd never say to anybody, You should leave this fandom. It's completely subjective as to how much, what your tolerance level is at. But the general principle, I feel, is that we are consumers. If you're not being served something fit for your consumption, vote with your wallet. Defund the BBC.
Don't have anyone tell you what to do. This is the thing. Make your own decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But this is where for me personally, you know, I don't like this era of the show. I am pretty much done with it. But I've also made my peace with that, because I kind of think you're right, Dan. I've just decided it's not for me. I'm moving on. I'm not enjoying watching it. I'm wasting my life watching it. Whereas there is plenty of other Doctor Who that I love watching. And actually, this is the irony of all of this. The worse current Doctor Who gets, the more I realise how much I love the Doctor Who that I love, if you know what I mean. It's actually throwing it into sharp relief and making you realise, you know what, the stuff that they're serving up now is rubbish, but wow, it's made me realise how good the good stuff that you personally like.
Simon. Yeah, I've just been watching, I've gone way back. I'm on to season 2 of Doctor Who. I like these 60s
you
stories.
mad woman.
The storytelling and some of the performances are blowing anything I've seen in these 4 specials out of the water. Like, I can't believe how good it is. Yes,
to a degree. Yes, sorry, Sarah, but I think to a degree, if they used the scripts from I would be happy if they used the old scripts and recreated it using new actors.
A lot of people would.
No.
What I'm saying is, rather than adding anything to them, if they just used the rather than creating a modern script, just use the old scripts, and you know people would still watch that.
But Matt, they'd kill it. It'd be awful. It'd be awful.
Can you imagine how people would feel about that? I just want to address this comment here from Cybermat Strikes. That explains why Dan likes this era. He says, "CS." My point is, I don't know whether I like this era or not. I haven't seen enough of it. Sincerely, like I say, I haven't reacted anywhere near as badly as other people have. My jury is very much still out. I have seen plenty that I enjoyed. I've seen some things that I didn't, and I'm still kind of processing it. So we've got our review of all 3 60th anniversary specials coming up on the podcast, and the Christmas special too. So stay tuned for that. I just like
to state that you know, if people like this new Doctor, then fine, watch it. But again, I can only speak for myself. I think this Ncuti, you know, I keep remembering Russell T going when he walked into the room, he blew the competition away, and then I saw him in the Christmas special, and I thought, no, this guy can't act. I'm sorry. So I'm saying,
you don't know what the competition was like, do you, Ian? You fear for the other people in the audition.
Well,
that's for sure.
I am totally convinced he blew certain people away.
Oh no!
Stop it! Moving on, Dan.
Yeah, let's move it on just a little. Because we have obviously things have moved on, and we believe, everybody believes, but nobody said a bloody word about it. But it does look like Newcastle upon Tyne actress Varada Sethu. At least let me do the introduction. Come on,
Varada Sethu.
So, Varada Sethu is to replace Millie Gibson as the Doctor's companion in the 15th series. So this is where the confusion's arising. It's officially going to be called Season 2, not due for broadcast until May 2025. So it seems that we've just into 2024, and this is happening. So it does seem that Sethu will star opposite Ncuti Gatwa, a Doctor who we've only just met. And within days of these rumours breaking again, I think this was in the Mirror. This actress Sethu was indeed seen out on the streets of Penarth in Wales with Ncuti Gatwa here. So this is in the Vale of Glamorgan in Wales. Beautiful place. And the cast and crew of Doctor Who have descended upon this small town and the Penarth Pier to turn it into a 1950s American cinema just for this occasion. All these cars and signs and things like that. Looks fabulous. We've got
it looks amazing, I have to say.
Down about this is right up my street. I do love this period in history, Simon. So I'm pretty much bang up for all of this so far. And sure enough, when the cameras, when the paps, do people still call them paps? When they go in, we do see Ncuti Gatwa, and that's definitely Verona Sethu there in her 1950s, almost Delta and the Bannerman style outfit. One may say there they are close up. I don't know what they're running from. She's looking up at something. He's looking down. I think he's worried he might tread in something there on the streets of Penarth, which wouldn't be that surprising. Having said that, but he's rocking the old Kid Creole look there, loving that. And they look like they're having a whale of a time, proper Doctor and companion vibes. So it would seem that this is absolutely true. Well, there's a doctor, there's a companion. It looks like
it's not Doctor Who.
It doesn't look like Doctor Who to me in the
It's not Doctor Who. It's not.
It looks like a fun period drama. I suppose it doesn't look Doctor Who-ish. But then, we're looking at a photo out of context, so I guess
it's a good guess, though, Simon. I think it's a good guess.
It's just the fact that he's not. They're continuing with the whole costume. Per episode, different costume.
Yeah, it does seem to be a thing. It does seem to be a thing, Matt, that we're going to have to sort of get on board with, and we either get used to it.
No, we don't have to get on board. We can leave.
That's what Dan's saying. You either get on board or you move on.
I mean, it's clearly a choice that they're making. It's clearly a choice that they're making that this Doctor will change clothes most episodes for at least part of the episode. They do look like they're having a good time, but then again, they ought to be. They're getting paid good money, and this is quite a nice place. Even if I imagine it's pretty cold there in the Vale of Glamorgan, and but yeah, that's our new Doctor and a new companion. So. Yeah, of course. I don't want to seem smug about this, but I could kind of see this coming, Charlotte. Earlier on, we spoke a little about the fact that filming has got so ahead of transmission. And it stood to reason to me that the further ahead we get, the more likely, particularly as in Russell T Davies' original run, the companions didn't stick around for long. The cast changed every single season of the original Russell T Davies era. I kind of expected something like this to happen. And this actress who isn't somebody that, again, not a household name, somebody who's been seen in a lot of things. It seems to be a standard Doctor Who move. They've swapped out one hot girl for another hot girl, business as usual. And here they are filming it, but the pictures are all over the newspapers. Newspapers don't sell as many copies as they used to, but the general public would be confused by even this, and it won't really matter who she is and whether they like her or not. When you talk to the public about something that's not going to be on screens for a year and a half, it's kind of pointless, isn't it? People forget.
Well, not only that, as we've been saying since the top of the show, the general public and the fandom are not invested in this show yet anyway. So why would anybody be really interested in this casting? Simply because people aren't on board with the show as yet, if you know what I mean. We've got to love the show before we're interested in the stories behind it.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, Russell was one for changing companions, and especially New Who, compared to classic, companions do not stay as long as they used to. It very much seems to be they get their story beats, they do the story they need to get told, and then they go. That does seem to be what happens with New Who. But I just think for a new era, I think it just feels too whiplash with the way it's been done. That's what it feels like. Because like you said, she's had one episode and then we're seeing the new one because they're filming so in advance. And I just think you're banking on people being able to quickly connect with a companion and then quickly disconnect and connect again. And I think also when the show's healthy and it's strong and it's going all like guns blazing, you can do that easier. And we've all said the show is not in a strong position at the moment. So I would say actually right now, you value stability more than anything else. And I think you needed that. So I think actually the better play here would have been to have Millie for 2 series, to have that stability, to have that connection rebuilt, to proper have like a companion doctor dynamic that we can fall in love with again, because we've not had that for a long time. Because even we like to sort of talk about Chibnall's era, but even Capaldi, people didn't like Clara. People didn't. A good chunk of the fandom didn't like Clara. They might not have liked Bill because she only had 1 series. So
I did like Bill. I like Bill.
Love
but
Bill.
I think what the show needs. I think what the show needs is almost what he did with Rose. 2 series, really get the connection with that companion, really build her up, really have that emotion there for us to really feel it when Millie goes. That's what I just think is the better play. Do 2 series.
The Geeks Handbag says this could be a sequel to my favourite story, Delta and the Bannermen. Well, we live in hope, Adam. We live in hope. We live in hope.
Yeah, we hope.
Who knows? So, we haven't got a press release for this yet, and heaven knows when we'll get one, because it does seem like an impossibly far way into the future. But Varada Sethu is, she's 32 years old, so she's got a good 10 years. Millie's 2021, isn't she? So she's a lot older. She's from Newcastle upon Tyne. She's a daughter of 2 real-life daughters. She's got a twin sister and is a graduate of the National Youth Theatre and the University of Bristol. So this is somebody who has done their time. They've got form. So she's been in several movies: Jurassic World Dominion, Now You See Me Too, which I liked a lot. I'm a big fan of those silly films. But most importantly, she was in Russell T Davies' 2016 adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Do you remember that, Sarah? I totally forgot she was in that.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Popped up in that. She's done a lot of TV in Britain. So she was a regular cast member of the action series Strike Back, where here she is holding, I'm not sure what weapon that is. Answers there in the live chat if you can identify that weapon. But I've no idea. So she was in that for 2 years. She's done the stuff that they've all done, stuff like Doctors and lots of crime dramas, like Nicola Walker's show Annika. She was in that. She was in that big show that Saran Jones had, Dr. Foster, a few years ago, which was again sort of about extramarital affairs, wasn't it? Very popular show. Hard Sun, which was a sort of sci-fi thriller. Sarah, did you ever see that?
Oh, I saw.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah,
she was in all of that.
Because I'm not really. Yeah, she's not really standing out, but. Yeah.
Well, they're kind of. I mean, obviously none of these parts have made this actress's name. I didn't watch Strike Back. That's on Sky. Obviously, that's Sky's like big action drama, isn't it? Haven't got Sky, don't watch it. But it's got a big fan base, and you can get box sets of it and all that kind of thing. It's a very, very popular show. So she's done all these things. She's done some big movies, and I suppose what people know her mostly for is the TV show Andor, which is a spin-off from Star Wars, and she played the character of Cinta in that. There, obviously, this being YouTube, this is the only role, even though she's got a couple of dozen roles behind her. This is the only role that YouTube is talking about. But she's done a lot of stuff. Seems like a good actress. She's not straight out of drama school, and to me, this all seems. It all seems the kind of person that you'd want to get involved in this show, Simon. So it's hard to know what to say when we've had no actual formal confirmation about it. We've got no statements from her. We don't know the name of the character. But one actress leaves, another arrives. It's standard Doctor Who.
As ever thus. Yeah, to as ever thus. I mean, I'm not really surprised that people are latching onto Andor simply because it's probably the thing she's been in most recently. Secondly, it's science fiction, so it's as close as you're going to get to Doctor Who. And thirdly, people maybe are seeing the Disney connection. Andor is made by Disney, that's right. So are we just seeing some cross-fertilization here across Disney shows? It's possible. It is possible.
It's possible. I think it's more. I think it's just as likely that Russell remembers her from Midsummer Night's Dream.
She could be absolutely wonderful. We'll have to wait and see. But at the minute, I'm just really struggling to care. I'm like, why?
That's how I am.
Yeah, because it's so far. It's so.
You're
so
struggling.
far.
I've stopped caring.
in advance. I mean, all things considered, I've decided that she can stay.
Oh, Dan.
Well done.
I've mulled it over for a couple of days, and so I've decided it's okay by me. Verada Sethu is a just like Ncuti Gatwa. She's all over social
Going
media.
back to the 80s, we've got this. Is she going to be the new Perry? That's what it is.
Her boobs aren't big enough.
Sarah, I think she'll be the new Perry for a certain rabbi.
I think she might be.
Especially his thumbnails.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I do in all seriousness agree. I like the fact that they're attracting talent with a track record, blah, 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 blah. And I can understand why fandom's all over this. Obviously, this does make your ears prick up because just like you, Simon, just like you said, it makes it look like a show that is, if not failing, then flailing.
Flailing is the perfect word.
Somebody else is back in. It's difficult to make any sense of this kind of thrashing around in the water when, just as you were saying, Charlotte, if anything, we need steady hands on both oars with a TARDIS team that people can latch onto over an extended period of time. Character options certainly hope so. They've debuted some new Doctor Who figures just this week at the International Toy Fair in London, including a 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday, along with a Wrath Guard there from the Star Beast. So these are around the same size
as the
Black
Ruby one
Archive.
Anatomically correct?
Yeah, I think so.
I again, you have to ask character options. Maybe you can tweet them and ask them that. But so they've debuted this figure, but apparently they're waiting on whether waiting to find out what Ruby's future in the show is going to be. So they're not actually sure if that figure's going to go into production.
Ouch!
These are prototypes. So this has been put out onto Twitter just in the last few days. So that there's a big plushie of Beep the Meep, which we did talk about before. Jack from the Nerd Den, he'll be happy about that. Yeah. Jack's going to be back on the show very soon. Get well soon, Jack. He's not been a well child at all, have you, mate? But yes, so we're going to get the plushie of Beep the Meep, but whether we get the Ruby Sunday figure there, we'll have to wait.
Oh, that would be a real kick in the teeth for Millie Gibson, wouldn't it? If the only thing that's ever produced is the prototype.
Yeah.
Maybe they can offer it online.
Maybe.
Would anybody want it, Matt?
Yeah, so she's all over the social media still. I mean, how profound is this? No job? Well, maybe not. No.
Ouch.
Just fun. It's all still business as usual when you look at the BBC social media around this show, which is, I suppose, what we should expect. And again, maybe we could place a bit of faith, but for those who are already out or who have one foot out the door, Ian, this is going to be one more reason to kind of part ways with Doctor Who if that time has indeed come.
I know this is a bit silly, but what job did Millie do?
She was on Coronation Street for about 5 or 6 years.
No. I mean in the show. I mean in
the
Doctor
actor,
Who.
the character.
Yeah, the
Ruby
character.
Sunday.
She worked in a club, didn't she? Did she work in a club?
She played keyboard.
Is that a real job, is it?
I don't know.
It probably says everything we need to know, that we don't know what she does. It probably tells you everything you need to know.
Well, is playing a keyboard a real job? Let us know in the comments and in the live chat.
Saying
Instagram,
no boss.
Instagram and X at Type40 Doctor Who. Is playing keyboards an actual proper job there? Okay, so moving on or moving back, depending on how you want to look at it. Last weekend there was a big birthday in the Whoniverse when the man, the legend, the Doctor turned 90. Tom Baker notched up 9 decades of frankly awesomeness on Saturday the 20th of January 2024. Tributes were plenty, as one would expect, Ian, from colleagues past and present, from Telly and from Big Finish, where he's still recording stories from well, yeah, he is. Yeah, he's still. Yeah, we did a, but that was a different show.
Yeah, I know.
So, Yes, us adoring fans there. 90 years, though, Simon. I mean, yeah, I think in the last couple of years, obviously, he doesn't get about as much as he used to. He seems to be looking after himself. 90 years, big birthday. What are your thoughts on Tom Baker hitting another big birthday? Because they don't come much bigger Tom Baker fans than you, do they?
Oh gosh, I just love this man so much. I just can't begin to say how important he is to my childhood and to my life as a whole. And Tom, I've still not met you. If you're out there and you're ever going through Lichfield, please knock on the door. I'm desperate. I am desperate to meet this man. But you know what? I am just made up to see that he got to 90 years. Good on him. What an absolute legend. He's still, surely he still is the Doctor, isn't he? In my mind, he's still the man. He's still the boss.
He is.
Well, unarguably so, as playful as ever. He's great with the public. I mean, I suppose that everybody has their good days and bad days, and Tom Baker certainly had his bad days, but now he seems very, very genial and very at peace with his role as the Doctor, Charlotte. 90 years of Tom Baker.
I know, and what amazes me is that his voice, like, that's the thing that usually when you get to that age, like it's that same, whether they're singers or they're just actors, you can hear the voice change. And for me, Tom is 100%. Maybe a tiny bit of age, but still the majority of
Still
it.
The Doctor.
It's like you can just, if you didn't see him and you just heard him, you'd think he was back when he was the Doctor. It's just amazing. Yeah. And I just think he's the one in the interviews that has got, like I said, that playfulness. I just think he's the king of that in every way. And
I have to say, I just love that photo that you've brought up, Dan, simply because you've got all the Doctors in the background, but Tom, he's the man. You know what I mean? The others are just merely players, and that's not to say anything against the other guys doing it, but Tom is the man, and he shows it in that photo. The others are just goofing around. He's the Doctor. Absolutely.
I mean, look at the messages in the live chat here. People adore this man, Matt. Have you ever met Tom Baker, Matt?
Oh, I wish.
Has anybody here met Tom? Anybody
He's
here
actually
met
the only
Tom?
one I haven't met.
No, I would love
from the
to.
classic era.
I think
It's Father Christmas, Doctor Who.
Yeah. I would imagine it's fairly true to say, can you actually be a fan of Doctor Who and not absolutely adore Tom Baker? I would say it's probably impossible to do.
I think it's unlikely.
His Doctor was very different to the rest of the Doctors. I've said this before.
Yeah.
He brought a sense of humor and he brought a sense of gravitas towards the Doctor.
Yeah.
There are a lot of other Doctors, yes, and most of them were good, but Tom Baker is the Roger Moore of the Doctor Who world. That's exactly what he is.
He had extreme charisma, and it oozed on screen.
Yeah. And he cast the mold from which the Doctor now is identified as. He is the man that established what we now think of as the Doctor. How much of it has been kept or jettisoned over the years is open to debate.
A lot of Tom Baker's being kept in the other iterations of the Doctor.
Yes,
I mean the only ones that didn't copy, obviously, Tom Baker was Pertwee and Patrick Trent. And Hartnell, obviously, because they were developing the Doctor.
Yeah.
But it was Tom that actually made the audience sit up and notice more so than ever the Doctor's presence. So and after that, everybody tried to capture that kind of humor that Tom brought to the Doctor, but not quite, because he was the man. Do you know what I mean? He was.
Well, and also in the alienness, he was the first one really out of the first four Doctors. He is the most alien of the four of them, and again, that's sort of. They've tried to sort of carry that through, certainly in most of the Doctors.
But you can see why I like John Pertwee, because John Pertwee didn't try to copy Tom Baker. He was very much his own Doctor. Do you know what I mean? He was very, very most of the time he was serious, and obviously he was very physical. So that's why I always say, one of the best doctors that I liked was John Pertwee, because he was very different to the rest of the doctors. And Tom Baker is the king. Do you know what I mean? He is the Roger Moore to the James Bond. He actually, if you think about Doctor Who, you think about the scarf, you think about the hat, you think about the long coat. Everybody copied the long coat.
And his voice, how he,
absolutely,
you know, it's that silhouette of him, like that is the Doctor.
Yeah,
sorry, you go.
I was going to say, and I think like Troughton had the sort of the slightly zaniness about him, and that's what I do love personally about Troughton myself. But it was more of just like a mask. You could tell it was more of he did it to sort of distract or to get people not to look at him so much, so he could do what he wanted. Whereas with Tom, it felt like a genuine eccentric, genuine sort of oddity.
Yes.
In the best way. I think that's what Tom brought to the role. And then everybody in varying degrees has keyed into that and have done their own version of that eccentricness.
Yeah, and I think the thing is with Tom, following on from what you're saying there, Charlotte, is that he literally inhabits the role and the role inhabits him. You know, it's impossible now, really, to tell where Tom Baker ends and the Doctor begins and vice versa. He just inhabited that role really more than even Hartnell, I would say. And that, you know, that's saying something.
Listen, I mean, Hartnell did the groundwork and so did the other two, but Tom cemented everything.
Yeah.
And put his mark in it. And it is because of how he is, his personality is so much of the Doctor, because he is a big personality.
Yeah.
He is eccentric. And yeah, it was just born to play that role.
It's that coat, though. It's the long coat that established the Doctor Who silhouette.
Yeah, we still have long coats now, don't we, in Doctor Who?
I mean, you know,
I hadn't looked at it like that, but you're absolutely right. We couldn't let that pass, even though it was last weekend. We couldn't let that pass here on the opening show of this season of Type 40 Live. Now, could we? But something else must be passed now. A drop or two of water, maybe. We won't and don't ever mention solids on this show, but this is ideal opportunity for you to perform whatever task nature demands right here.
What are you saying?
Right here and right now, because here is the fan favourite, trademarked probably by royal appointment by now, Type 40 Live ad break. If you're blessed with a robust bladder, you get to focus all of your stream on these golden voices and golden faces from Doctor Who's golden past. The rest of you, I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes.
Do you want to go to Australia? You know nothing about Australia?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well,
I've been reading all about it. Look. Australia, a sunburnt country of sweeping plains, rugged mountain ranges of droughts and flooding rains. Banjo Patterson. You see, I know everything. Go on, ask me something else.
Population?
14 million.
Size?
Big?
Bradman's best test score?
428.
Australia's most famous export?
Well, Dame Edna Everett.
Advantages?
Well, terrific weather, wonderful beaches, lots of water, healthy places, healthy people, lots of space.
Disadvantages?
Well, I mean, according to the latest microscan, none.
Incorrect. Update of microscan information reveals new situation. Australia is dirty, littered, imminent collapse of life support systems due to pollution.
What? Well, there you are then. That's why I've got to go down there. I've got to go down there and tell them to keep Australia beautiful. That's important. I'll tell them to keep Australia beautiful. It's important. Can I go now, sir? Thank you. It is important. Keep Australia beautiful.
Ways to get your hair Vosine clean, original and frequent wash herbal, with the fresh smell of alpine herbs.
Mum's chatting up the milkman again.
We've all got someone we like to have nice clean hair for, haven't we?
Vosine.
Exterminate. I'm lit, the mild cigar.
Yes, welcome back to Type 40 Live, your live stream Doctor Who magazine show covering the on and off screen happenings across the Whoniverse as the show enters its 61st year. I'm still here with our cheeky panel. Are they all present and correct? Well, as correct as they'll ever be. We've got Simon Horton here, starry-eyed girl Sarah Graham.
Good timing.
We got Matt Potts and Queen Charlotte Shields there as well. The gang's all here, thereabouts, and we've got a lot more to get into. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the little blue link. Otherwise, we have no idea who you are. If we call you FU, well, that could cause offense, couldn't it? Okay, so where are we? We are waiting, just like Doctor Who fans have to do with alarming regularity. What are we waiting for? Well, we're waiting for more episodes, aren't we? Those of us that are still down for it. I think down for it. That's right, Peter, isn't it? Are you down for it, Peter? I think he could be. So yeah, whether the bombshell, the blonde bombshell, Millie Gibson, whether she's out or not, there's lots of Doctor Who coming later this year, and as well as the stuff that's going on the television, those 8 episodes, there's going to be a lot to talk about surrounding Doctor Who itself as well, because quite frankly, there always is. So as Doctor Who fans, we're forced to wait, but the joy of waiting is that it allows Doctor Who fans to indulge one of our other passions, and that is speculation. Sarah, speculation about what the future may hold. So I've asked the plucky team here to speculate, to go away and to jot a few things down and to just throw it out there right now, right here and now. I want your predictions. We're going to give you our predictions for what 2024 may indeed bring throughout the Whoniverse, whether it's on or off screen. So have you had fun gathering your thoughts?
Yeah, I have.
Do you enjoy speculate? You enjoy speculating, Sarah, do you?
I do, yeah. It is a fun pastime of being a fan, and we've got to do something while we're idling away at the moment. So as I've said, I'm well into my 60s Doctor Who at the moment. Really enjoying it. Some episodes I'm watching for the first time, and I've also noticed. I went shopping recently, and there's a new fashion show that I don't know if you might have seen this in the female shops. Lots of fuzzy, furry, black and white stripe jumpers, cardigans, dresses, this kind of thing. Oh. Very much like the Menoptera. I'm thinking, with Russell being on trend, this is what we're going to get. I think we're either going to get the Menoptera back with Ncuti, or we're going to get, that's going to be the next 60s episode to be coloured. Can you imagine all the episodes of the Web Planet in glorious colour?
Just when you thought it couldn't possibly get any worse.
So what you're telling me is after a trip to Peacocks and various other places, you have come to the conclusion, to doing a bit of window shopping, that the Web Planet will be the next Doctor Who story that our friends, that Richard Tipple and Kieran Hyman are going to be colorizing for broadcast at some point of BBC 4 later in the year.
How
your
can
prediction?
they not? Can't you wait to see that wonderful hairdryer in glorious colour?
I think you're taking the mickey out of the Web Planet just a tiny bit, Sarah. How could you?
Listen, Hartnell sold those scenes. I believed it. But yeah, it put six parts. So I mean, oh dear.
Yeah, Zarby, as Crimpling Doubloon says.
I started getting every time I heard the Zarby noise, I started getting a twitch, and I kept hearing it like at night. It was really starting to affect me. I love it. It's But what they did, the scale of it, the ambition. I know it didn't quite work, but
they tried it.
They need to take risks again. That's what I'm saying. 60s Doctor Who is blowing this current era out of water.
That's the only Doctor Who story ever, Sarah, when the only human characters in it are the 4 time travelers. That's it. Everything else is alien, and in an alien costume. There's no single human actor in there in human form. Amazing.
I might even, if you're good, I might even buy this black and white drum just to show us.
But you'll have to give yourselves big plastic wings made out of a bin liner.
I just go like that, don't they?
And you know who's in one of those Monoptera, don't you? Only Martin Jarvis. Martin Jarvis.
The Martin
Jarvis in one of his first. In fact, I think it is his first television role in one of the Monoptera. It could be worse. He could have got a
Yeah. Okay. So you found the level, everybody. So far, this is our predictions for 2024. Things could get pretty wild. The Zarbi are pretty wild. The Monoptera are very, very wild. Charlotte, have you got a prediction for 2024 on or off screen? Anything in print or just general? What could possibly happen this year, this calendar year?
I think we had a lot of we had a word repeated quite a lot last year, whoniverse. But we didn't really get told what it means yet. We haven't really seen how on earth they're going to do this. Either it's spin-offs or is it connected? I think they need to properly show what's this shared vision, which they've kept banging on about, but not actually telling us anything. They've got the pretty logo now. They've got the iPlayer set up. It needs to now properly start to take form. And I just think I think the big thing is obviously back when Russell was first doing it, there was connections, but they were very much their own shows, whether that was Sarah Jane or Torchwood. So they did connect and there was fun little crossovers, but they were their own thing. Is he going to take that approach? Or is he actually going to go for it and say, no, this is a proper shared connected universe? And I just think we need to start to see what on earth that is. So I think that's going to be a focus this year.
So you think that they're going to, behind the scenes, this is going to happen behind the scenes, or we're going to see some of it?
I think we need to start to see what announcements possibly for spin-offs. I know there's rumoured stuff with a unit, which I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. I know it's been talked about a lot. There's the rumour now of the Sea Devil spin-off show. So I just think they need to start to say, what's the vision a little bit, honestly? How's it going to work? Do we need to watch all these shows to watch the main show? I think that's a big worry because that's, for Marvel, for example, that was a big turn off for people with the Marvel movies, that they felt like they had to watch them all.
We've got a question here from Robert Payne in the live chat here on YouTube who asks, what is the Whoniverse? They don't even know. I in all fairness, let's not be churlish about this. They know. It's the Whoniverse is a portal. It's part of the BBC's iPlayer platform, and you can watch all Doctor Who on there, and it's something they're clearly going to develop and exploit. The way that intellectual properties do get exploited, they're going to expand it and exploit it with a brand of programming, of content, and I expect some of it will be interactive. So to me, it's actually very clear what the Whoniverse is, but where it's going is another question entirely. A few years ago, Universal Studios, if you remember, Charlotte, they embarked on a very ambitious plan where they were going to go back through their history and remake a lot of their old monster movies, and they grabbed all these big movie stars. Remember, Ian, they got Russell Crowe, Tom Cruise. They got a big photo shoot. We're going to make the Mummy. We're going to make the Invisible Man. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And they got a fancy logo, Dark Universe. They made one film and the thing sank without a trace. There's a great danger. There's a great danger. If Universal Studios can do that, Simon, and have it just instantly fall flat, then it can absolutely happen to the BBC. So in your view, Charlotte, what's the first step that needs to be planted firmly for people, for the fans to take seriously and the general public to notice that the Whoniverse exists?
I think it needs to be what the spin-offs. because all the stuff we got extra last year was nice, but it was very twee. Like we said, I know that's what Simon said about Tales of the TARDIS, with some of the documentary stuff. It was very sort of fluff. It felt very fluffy and not like weighty. I think we need to see, like I said, what spin-offs are we getting? How much are we going to get? How frequently? Like I said, a vision, a sort of setting their stall out. What's it going to be? How much do we need to watch of it?
Inspire us.
Yeah, because and that's a big thing. Can it get us? Can it get us excited?
Do you know what I find quite odd as well? Sorry, Charlotte, go on, carry on.
Well, because like that's what worked with before, like I said, with Sarah Jane and Torchwood. It was different audiences they were playing to, and that worked very well. They had characters we knew and loved. That was the center point of those shows. So they just, like I said, we need a vision, we need some announcement, or just we don't have to see them necessarily this year, but we need to get a plan, and we need to know a little bit what that plan is for the Whoniverse.
What I was going to say is I find a little bit strange is the way now they put that Whoniverse logo, the ident at the top of all of the new episodes.
Yes,
now I'm not necessarily against it. I'm not against it, but it is a bit odd. It's just a bit. What do they expect the public reaction to be to that? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't really mean much to us. It certainly doesn't mean anything to the public. And so really they're just bandying this word around for no particularly good reason.
Exactly.
At the moment. I just find it a bit odd.
I think the rollout of it was, in my belief, from a marketing point of view, from a designer's point of view, the rollout of it was absolutely fine.
Yes.
But now we're nearly 6 months on. Now's the time to, particularly in the lull between now and season 1 starting, is to plant something. Tony Farrell here in the live chat. Hiya, Tony. Big T's there. He says, for the Whoniverse to work, the central show needs to be sorted out first.
Spot on.
And obviously, this is obviously demonstrably true.
Oh yes.
The thing is, they clearly believe they've done that already, because they're continuing to make it at an increasingly fast rate. So I suppose we just have to accept that they have this in mind. We've already accepted the fact that Millie Gibson is already out of the regular cast means that they don't really care whether we react to it or not. That we're going to get some version of this plan rolled out, probably including an extra project. Maybe even 2, because that's one of my sort of semi-predictions. I believe we will get an announcement this year of 2 series that are going to be part of the Whoniverse, one of which I believe could be animated, properly, a fully animated series. And I'm not sure if we're talking about regular series or kind of event series model things, but I think we are going to find out 2 projects this year. That would be my prediction about that. Keep your predictions coming in the live chat too. We'll get round to those as well in due course. We've got some, so we'll definitely come back to those in a minute. Any other predictions, Charlotte? Anything else you got that's just buzzing around your head that you think, I've got to get this out there, I've got to get it out there?
I think maybe, like you said, what they're going to do with the classic archive. Is there going to be more colour? Are they going to colorize more? Are they going to do reconstructions? I think, because we've all said if there's one success they did have last year, it was putting the classic on iPlayer. It was actually quite well done. It actually reached a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And it was a really good move to get that sort of more people watching classics. So I'm hoping they sort of capitalize now on that and sort of evolve that more, whether that's, like I said, more colorization, whether that's putting more classic on there, which isn't already there, whether that's because of agreements being made or finding stuff that they didn't have.
It would be nice if that was the case, wouldn't it? Missing episodes or something.
Yeah, so that's my other one, like evolving the classic platform that they've started, because I think that was a good move and it should get evolved. It should sort of not get left now. I'd hate for that to happen, for it to almost be, we've done our job now, let's leave it. Sort of do so. But on that move, it's past 10, so people probably can guess I need to go.
Charlotte.
Lovely to see you, Charlotte.
Bye, Charlotte.
Lovely to be back. See you all soon.
Good night.
Wouldn't be the same without you. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yes, these are our predictions for what 2024 may bring across the Whoniverse on and off screen here at Type 40 Live's Doctor Who Annual for 2024, kicking off our 8th season of live streams. We're going to get round to your predictions in a few moments. There's some absolute crackers in here, but Peter Harrington, he predicts a riot. Ian, right, I'm not sure.
Oh, very good, Peter.
The riot could be about... But Ian, have you got any predictions for what the year may bring, despite the fact that you've got sort of 1 foot half out the door? I mean, have you got any predictions with this?
Well, I predict that the ratings are going to go down lower, and after the second season, third season, they'll probably think about cancelling it. They're going to have a spin-off, and it's going to
the second season.
Well, hold on, I haven't finished it.
Hang on, for 2020,
you wanted my predictions.
For 2024, not 2025 and 2020, just for this year.
You didn't make that clear, did you? Not to me, anyway.
I did.
No. I'm not going to watch it, but this is what I think is going to happen. It's going to be after the third season is going to be cancelled.
Yes.
I reckon that's my prediction. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
Season 2 of we cannot possibly speculate about 2025, 2026. There's no evidence to suggest that whatsoever.
But there's no evidence to what Charlotte said just now about anything that she said. This is we're predicting, aren't we? So
I know, but I'm Okay. I'm just trying not to be too black-pilled on it. I mean, we could say, "Oh, fucking hell, the world's going to end in 5 years' time," and
it's not being black-pilled. It's what a lot of people are thinking. It's a lot of people think it's going to happen because their hearts are broken. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you've got to bring this up. This is Type 40. All kinds of opinions are welcomed here, and this is my opinion. I don't think it's going to work personally. I mean, that's me being nice as well. It's not going to work, that's the thing. So, but that's just my opinion, of course.
Well, I'm sort of. I mean, the idea is that this is amusing, and it's something that over the next 12 months. So we'll come back, and in 12 months' time, see if we were accurate in any way. We can all have a good laugh at how few of the things that we predicted actually come to pass. I'm not trying to shoot you down at all. I do understand how you feel the way you do, but it is supposed to be pretty light and fluffy. And in my view, we're not seeing any reason at all to believe that Doctor Who is going to be cancelled next year. It's not looking that way.
Again, Dan,
I mean, it does seem to me that they have. I don't understand this modern way of making television, that it can be that something can seemingly be bankrolled to such a degree that
we
it
know
could be
why,
this
don't we?
unstoppable train, and they're willing to make 2, 3, 4 seasons of something.
Yeah, but we know why.
Irrespective of whether the audience like it or not. That seems alien to me.
That's their MO, isn't it? With every show, with the Disney, with the Star Wars, but we can go on forever about
content.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it's failing, they will still pump money into it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a failure with the majority of people that like Doctor Who. It's starting right now, and it's only going to get worse. Let's face it.
I must be honest. I don't think it will get cancelled. I have to be honest. I would personally like to see it just have a breather, as I said earlier on. I don't think it will get cancelled because they will just keep on ploughing money into it. I mean, they just will. It'll I think it'll keep it. Unfortunately, I don't think they've got the foresight to think, you know what, maybe a 3 or 4, 5 year break would do it good. Because they can't unsee the dollar signs in front of their eyes. But anyway,
Bad Wolf.
This is it with corporations. They're just going to keep milking and milking and milking.
I know that all this stuff is very, very, very popular, particularly on this platform. It's what keeps a lot of channels going that make multiple videos about this. But what they're not acknowledging is the fact that Bad Wolf have an agreement with BBC Studios to make this show for 5 years. There's another 3 years to go of that. And so, people can plaster it all over their thumbnails that Doctor Who is dead and that Doctor Who is done, and as much as they like. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm not saying that living in an age where the quality of television, and whether it's popular or not, is academic, is a good thing. But there's no hint at all that Doctor Who is to be cancelled anytime soon, anybody. I'd say it's at least going to. I mean, whether it gets extended beyond that 5 years, obviously, I think that's another question. I think
I totally agree with you. There is no evidence that it's going to be cancelled. But you asked for my prediction. That's it. So I totally agree with you. And you know what? Because of BlackRock and all this so-and-so money, they'll keep going, but the audience will dwindle.
It will.
Across the Atlantic to over here, it will dwindle because of what they're putting in the show. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, right, but that's what's going to happen. And I think that's what's going to happen. But to tell you the truth, I do not wish this upon Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. Unfortunately, to me, this isn't Doctor Who. So, I hope the people that like it watch it so that it can just keep going, in my opinion, but who knows?
Let's see if this new audience shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Yeah, are they out there? Will they show up? And if not, then is there any possibility or any interest in any kind of course correction whatsoever by the program makers there, Simon? Because it looks, as I say, it looks like the responses, not the wants or the will, but the responses of the viewing public are just not a factor in this at all. They'll make X amount of episodes over the 5 years as a package, as a deal. The deal will be met. The product will be made and marketed and delivered over that period of time, and then how it gets remembered in the history books will remain to be seen. Whether that will be in 2027, 2030. Who knows where we'll be by then? I mean, this show, I think what we have seen, Sarah, is how quickly the fortunes of Doctor Who can turn for better or for worse. Who'd have thought in 2023 that just 4.5 years on from the day of the Doctor, we'd be staring down the barrel of 10 episodes of absolute tripe, like Arachnids in the UK and all that stuff. That was just 4.5 years between that high point and toilet bowl low. So if it can go that way, it can potentially go the other way. I'll admit
What's that on David Tennant's forehead?
I'll admit it's a streak of light, I think. I'll admit that at the moment that it's not looking. It's not looking that way one way or the other. I think it's impossible because we are in this position of limbo as it presently stands. The all new era has begun, but in many respects it actually hasn't, because we saw a little of it on Christmas Day, but it was nothing. And whatever you feel that was in that special and wasn't, because it wasn't substantial, I still feel like we're sort of in limbo. Have you got any other predictions, Ian?
I don't know. No, not really. I mean, seriously, I don't want to upset people that are for this era of Doctor Who. But again, I'd like to express my opinion, and I have expressed my opinion. The thing about this Doctor Who is, I think it's very dangerous. If I had kids, I would never let my kids watch this Doctor Who. It's very insidious what they put in those especially the Christmas episode. But I won't. So. But that's just my opinion, of course, obviously. But there you go.
So
hello, legs. Yeah.
What distracted by legs? Yeah.
Got distracted. Got distracted a bit. There you go.
We're speaking very, very generally here. Very, very generally. So, Simon, how about you? Are you one? I mean, every Doctor Who fan likes making lists and likes speculating. What's buzzing around your head at the moment? I mean, we've spoken a lot about where we feel the series is presently, but have you got any predictions, either creatively about what may happen to the characters on screen, about the production of the series itself, or about something extraneous to the series, or expanded world stuff, or merchandise? Have you got anything?
Yeah, I have. I mean, my one prediction, which if I was a betting man, I would put money on this one, actually. And I'm not suggesting we sort of unpack all this one, because we've kind of been there already. But my one prediction is I genuinely think it will be announced this year that Ncuti is leaving the role. I'm not in any doubt that this time next year, Ncuti will not. He will still be in the role in the. I know there'll be episodes in the canon that'll be going on, but it will be announced this year that he is moving on. I'm cast iron certainty on that, and I'm very happy for us to get here this time next year and say, was I right?
No, I think you're right, Simon, because he is a rising star. He's already alluded to things in that interview.
Well, it wasn't Barbie, right?
And Barbie's done so much to raise his profile. I think even more than getting the gig of Doctor Who has, if I'm quite honest.
I mean,
I can't see him sticking around. I think you're right.
My reason for saying that, I think, is different to yours. My reason is because I think that this iteration of Doctor Who won't be seen as a success, and I think they'll move him on in the hope of sort of rebooting it and starting again with a new actor, rather than because he's doing because he's a rising star. I just think they'll kind of think, oh, let's reboot, let's try again. But
so hang on, let me just clarify something, Simon.
Yes.
So you're not suggesting, it's not that you're suggesting that the actor will move on for the character. You're suggesting that they could effectively reboot the series again and come at the whole thing editorially again.
I think so. I honestly haven't got a clue what contract he signed. So for all I know, he might have signed a 5-year contract, in which case I'm talking out of my backside. If it's a 2-year contract, as Ian says, and I think that would be logical that it would be a 2-year contract, I simply think they won't renew his contract. And I don't think it'll be because he's done anything terrible, or I'm not trying to sort of stoke controversy. I'm simply saying I think that they will look at it and say, it's not really resonated with the public. Let's try again. And I think if anybody, the people that will kind of push that would be Disney, simply because they need it to resonate with the public, maybe more so than the BBC do. Maybe the BBC are a bit more. Well, we know that the BBC don't really know what they've got with Doctor Who, so they're just a bit more easygoing. Disney won't be easygoing with failure. They'll say, no, we've got to reboot this, rebrand it, restart again, I think.
Yeah, but
we have a comment here from
in charge, then it's not going to be good, is it? I mean, he's just going to do the same thing, isn't he? So I don't know.
Maybe.
Right,
but he's got a comment here from Heretic OSJC, who agrees with you, Simon. My prediction is Ncuti is only going to do 2 series because he's in so much demand. A secret regeneration and maybe a 3rd Christmas special. Now, I have heard that he's contracted for 3 seasons, but of course, the rate, and this is so I kind of think that you're probably going to be right about this, because they are making this material at quite a rate. Ncuti was cast nearly 2. Well, actually, no, he was announced nearly 2 years ago. He would have been cast around this time 2 years ago. So a 2-year commitment. Potentially, he could be there for another 12 months attached to this role. I think that you're probably right. I believe that he signed to do 3 seasons, but one of my sort of soft predictions for this was that there will be a bigger gap, that they won't continue at this momentum. There will be a gap in production between season 2 and season 3, so we won't get the same period of time in between that his 2nd and 3rd run, that it will extend it a little, simply because it will have been so intense for them working on it. There was very little respite in between seasons 1 and season 2, and that's quite unusual, I think, and probably unnecessary. And I think that they can't possibly make a 3rd run without having some barometer, some idea of which characters people have latched onto and how his incarnation is going down. Not least of all because they may wish to offer him, as to what he wants of his career, I've no idea. But they may wish to offer him an extension to that contract, offer him another 2 seasons, which that's pretty commonplace. At which point they're going to need to know. By that point, they're going to have to know and make that decision based on some form of audience response. It makes perfect business sense.
And the thing is, I mean, if they have signed him on for example, 3 seasons, then there's absolutely no reason why they couldn't make those 3 seasons if he's on a 2-year contract. They could easily do it, because at the end of the day, if they're all only 8 episodes long, That's 24 episodes. So well back in the day, you used to have a 13 episode season. So across 2 years, that was 26. So that's still more episodes in a 2 year period than they would be making now with Ncuti anyway. So it's completely doable. They could still do 3 seasons potentially in 2 years. And then let him go. And what would that take us up to 2026 for his 3rd season? And then he moves on. But as I say, my prediction will be that he still gets removed.
I think Dan's right, though.
This year he will be out.
One of the reasons why they're making it fast is maybe they do know they've got him under a 2 year contract and they're trying to
could be
out much. I think Dan might have something there. So, you know.
There's got to be some sense and reason to it, Sarah, because for us, I mean, we don't work in TV. I mean, Simon and Ian have and do, but to us, it's like, what's going on? They're really going at this. Somebody's got to slow down. Hello to Shah in the live chat. I don't know if is it chucking out time yet? No. Shah. Hopefully Shah will be back with us at some point in the near future. Hello, you lovely lot. Welcome back to you too.
Hello, Shah, you need to watch this one back from the start and see the ridiculous lead-ins he's had for us all. I don't know what you've missed.
Now, can I move on to my second prediction? Because my second prediction I'm quite excited about.
Okay, go
my second prediction is that this year, if not this year that it will be released, but it will certainly be announced that this year that we are going to get the first Patrick Troughton Blu-ray box set.
That was my prediction.
I do apologise, Matt.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah.
So Matt, which season are you? Because I know which season I think it will be that they will release.
Well, I'm thinking probably I'm hoping the 3rd season.
Yeah, I think it will be the 3rd. Because it makes sense to be the 3rd, because the only story that they haven't got out of the 3rd season is the Space Pirates. They're missing a couple of episodes here and there for the invasion and stuff like that. The Space Pirates is missing in its entirety apart from one episode. But let's be honest, nobody really cares about the Space Pirates anyway, so they can just do a telesnaps reconstruction of that and move on. So I think season 3 will be announced. Season 6, i.e. Patrick Troughton's 3rd season, will be announced this year, if not released this year. There's my prediction.
Oh, that I would love that. It does seem odd that there hasn't been even a sniff of Patrick Troughton. Yeah.
And season 3 is logical.
That's a terrible omission, awful omission.
It's coming.
It's difficult to market. It's difficult to market. I mean, Ian, we talked. How you are with black and white material. You're not so keen on it. It's harder to market black and white material, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it's also it's next to impossible though to market black and white material when massive chunks of it don't exist. So, do you think that could be the reason why we're still waiting for Troughton set?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't have a problem with black and white material. I do prefer the Doctor Who's when the special effects are redone and they put colorization. I love the one that they showed before Christmas, the Hartnell one. Absolutely fantastic. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, it looked a bit ropey, but what do you expect? The thing was shot like years and years and years ago. But and I love the edit of it too, because when I saw it originally, it really did drag. But in my opinion, obviously Simon disagrees with me. In my opinion, the way they stuck it all together, it moved a lot more fast. And as far as I was concerned, it's a little bit more exciting as well. So I'm all up for
I liked it as well.
Version, yeah, Troughton's versions to come out on DVD. You can bet your bottom dollar if it's in black and white, they're going to do the best they can. I think doing a Blu-ray version of something that's in black and white, it's far more easier to do if it's something in color, especially the way they've captured it now, because I do believe that it was shot on video, right? Some of the Troughton stuff.
Yes.
Right? But the way they've got it looks like film. I think because they put it on something so it might look absolutely terrific. You never know. So yeah, I'm all up for that.
And I think they need to make use of Wendy Padbury.
Yes, exactly. And Fraser Hines.
Because I don't want to sound mean, but they are getting on a bit. And but then they were so warmly received doing Tales of a TARDIS.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to see, another Peak McTee trailer.
I'm not in much doubt. I would imagine I'll be amazed if they haven't already recorded key interviews with Fraser Hines, Wendy Padbury, Carol Ann Ford as well.
We know from our sources that 5 further Blu-ray sets are at various stages of production.
But Dan, right? They've got these AI things, right? On the internet, okay. And there's one AI that actually takes like video, like say for instance, something shot on DV, and they upscale it, and it just looks amazing. More so than what they did with the thing at Christmas time. So if they keep going with Troughton's one. And they use this kind of technology, it's going to look fantastic, even if it isn't black and white. I love black and white movies anyway, so it's going to. I'd buy it. I'd definitely buy it when it comes out. Me,
of course, as long as they don't tinker too much with these things. Anything can happen if you allow people to run with the ball. But this line of Blu-rays really captures people's imaginations, and we're all very invested in what could come next or next after next. The pattern of releases goes by financial year from April to April rather than calendar year, which explains why we've had 2 some years and 3 others. When you break it all down, it makes a sort of sense. And obviously there's been logistic reasons why we've had some years than others. I believe from the people that we've spoken to on the podcast, we've been lucky enough to have interviews and conversations with several key people involved, that they want to get this stuff out as quickly and as beautifully presented as possible. But obviously, they're also very aware that there's only so many events that you can put into the average calendar. There's only so much money in all of our wallets to invest in these things. It's the range has been running for 6 years now, and in some ways it does seem strange that there's an incarnation of the Doctor that's not represented in that collection. So
we know why.
I would love that. I think obviously ideally I'm going to buy them all anyway. I'm
going to buy them.
Yeah.
Do the majority of fans? But actually, in the live chat, let us know, and in the comments section, do you buy each and every release, or do you cherry pick when it comes to the Blu-rays? I think most people are completists, but again, I could be wrong. Have you got a second prediction, Simon?
Right. My other prediction is this. I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here.
There we go.
I think we might get an episode back this year. I think we might get a missing episode this year. I am going to go out on a limb on that one and say, that's and that's not just me being wishful thinking. I just think there's just been so many rumors of late. I think I have a feeling we might have come very close to getting one last year, and maybe legalities held it up or something. I don't know, but I think there's another episode out there that is going to come back this year.
We do know, and I suppose people are going to step in the live chat in a moment and remind us that there are several episodes that exist in private hands that we know this has been made public. Could it be one of those, Simon? Or do you think there's fresh finds out there as well?
Yeah, I think undoubtedly, I do believe the rumours that there are episodes in private hands. I do also believe in my heart that there are still episodes out there that are not yet recovered, that are in a vault somewhere. Who knows? It's impossible to say whether it would be one of those that might be in private hands finally coming forward, or if they literally discover a new episode. But I'm not in any doubt at all that there are still episodes out there, and there are people that know where some of those episodes are.
Nigeria.
And I think one will come back this year. At least one. One will come back.
I hope so.
We will get missing stuff this year.
It's been
we're
11
gonna have to do
years.
another shop. We're going to have to do another show revisiting these, aren't we?
Here we are.
Richard Brooks hopes the standard editions come more quickly to the Blu-rays. Yeah, there's been some delay there, and people in your hemisphere, Matt, have had a hell of a time with the Blu-rays. I understand they've put season 20 has been put back again by another couple of months.
Yeah, well, we never even got the John Pertwee one.
That never came at all.
So the one before
season 9,
season 20, yeah. So No, it's just a wasteland. Everybody's leaving Australia for Blu-rays. The Amazon's left Blu-rays. You can't buy anything locally. You have to buy it from the UK or the US. So yeah, at the moment everything's it's all trying to force you onto streaming. Same with Disney.
Yeah.
Disney, we don't have Disney. We have to get them from the UK if we want them. But there's nothing modern that I want. Thank you very much. So yeah.
Simon,
I'm saving some money.
Your
Australia's
prediction.
such a big fan base, and it's
My
just,
prediction,
isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry, Matt. Go on.
Well, so I just want to say to Simon that your prediction there has definitely caught people's imagination here in the live chat on YouTube, and people are throwing out episodes, numbers, and titles. Feast of Stephen.
Oh, crippling balloon, if only.
This is how it gets. What Ian was saying. This show is part of our hearts, part of our souls. And it's understandable that people, I want that one the very, very most, or that one, or that one, or that one. Peter Harrington has two episodes. Under his hat.
So you know the so I'm still waiting for my Tom Baker one, right? My Tom Baker Blu-ray pack thing.
It's not out for a while yet. We're going to cover that next week as it goes.
Yeah, but the one that came out with Tom Baker, what season was that? The one that came out.
17 came out with Tom Baker. That was the last Tom Baker one.
The standard
one.
Sorry,
no, not standard. That's due out in standard edition now.
Right.
Season 17 is due soon.
Did they do the giant robot one?
Yes, that was season 12. That was the first one.
That was the first one.
I haven't got that, but did they?
That's on standard edition now. You can get that on standard edition.
Right.
Yeah.
Did they muck around with the effects or just left it the way it was?
No, they slightly cleaned them up. Actually, they left them alone. They did actually slightly clean them up. They didn't advertise the fact that they'd slightly cleaned them up, but they have done a bit of cleanup work. And
it's still a toy tank.
All the better. It's still a toy tank, I'm afraid.
By current standards, that set was marketed quite quietly, wasn't it? Season 12.
I didn't even know it was there.
When you look back, as Cinnamon Toast Crunch says, that was 2018.
Oh wow! Of course it was.
So, given the fact we've straddled time zones then with that prediction, but it leads us very nicely to Matt Potts there. Have you got any predictions that you'd like to share with us? Things you'd like to impart?
Apart from the one that I stuffed up. Sorry, Matt.
Charlotte took one of mine. Go on, carry on. Yeah, go on. You can whisper them if you like, if it's a secret.
I have a suspicion that, and I'm dead serious about this. I have a suspicion that we'll get a series on the Blinks and the Blinks.
That robot
from the Giggle.
That was the unit robot, wasn't it?
I'm guessing it may be a Big Finish audio.
No, God.
So I
on the
reckon it could be
Blinks?
an origin. Yeah, on the Blinks. Yeah. Because
No, I think
obviously
it
he
might
was
be-
the standout character of the whole.
No,
I love that.
I'm
You're
sensing
being cheeky.
I'm sensing, Matt, that you're being somewhat facetious here. So what you're suggesting?
Nobody's like commented like, "Oh, there's an alien there. There's an alien robot."
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
literally just hanging around. I mean, so what you're suggesting there is, because there's a dividing line, isn't there? Presently, trying to drag this back into seriousness, because I don't know why, but. So some people will be asking this because there is an agreement at Big Finish, isn't there? Or at least there was, whereby they can only adapt and exploit characters and setups of the show, versions of the show that aren't presently in production. So maybe that could change because
the unit is being in production, because I don't see it happening. I know that we spend all that money, but
I don't know about that. But I believe that we're going to see the unit HQ that we saw the other. I believe we'll see that again, which leads me to believe we'll probably see the Vlinks robot cyborg thing again.
He'll definitely be back. Nicholas Briggs. Bad smell.
The truth of the matter, though, is that perhaps the next evolution of Big Finish. And what people are asking about, what is the Whoniverse? What could it be? To me, it makes sense that line, because Big Finish, it's been 25 years. They have really held their end up of the bargain when it comes to this IP. I think it's about time that there was some I don't want to use the word synergy, but some sort of crossover whereby Big Finish could produce something that ties into what's on TV now. And not that would be essential for people to listen to, but that could enhance it in some way and add some value and flesh something out. So I have no idea whether that's feasible, whether it's on the cards, but...
Well, I mean, I think it would work better than, a sequel to Doom. Let's just say it that way.
I'd all but forgotten about that. People are still mentioning this to the live chat. That's cut pretty
This
deep.
does bother me, because if it wasn't for Big Finish, now whether you're into your audios or not, they've kept Doctor Who going for so many years, and they're still seen as like the poor relation. And I do think it's unfair. And I think you're right, Matt and Dan, that so I think it would be nice to kind of mark this and to have some kind of partnership on screen. And just
after 25 years, I think
of good stories. Now, maybe not every single story Big Finish has ever done has been brilliant, but there's still a good pile of stories that could so easily be adapted on screen.
Didn't they?
I like Liven's Flames comment here, who suggests that maybe UNIT has been renamed the United Nations Inclusive Task Force.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Retro Doc simply states #Justice for Doom.
No, Gary, that is never going to take off.
Take these things too far.
Did it actually finish? Did Doom ever actually come to a conclusion? Did it end? What was the end?
In a comic, I think.
It finished, but that awful Suze Kempner person is probably still ranting about it on some social media platform, whichever she's not been banned from already. My God, talk about a wasp at a fucking picnic.
But I do have a prediction, one more prediction, and it is to do with Big Finish, actually. I think this year we're going to get the announcement that we're going to have the Ninth Doctor and Rose on audio together. Because it was asked, if you recall, at that convention earlier this year.
Was it?
It was they were both asked while Chris and Billy were both on stage, and they both said yes, they'd love to work with each other again. And Chris basically said, "Yeah, let's make it happen, Big Finish." So I think, well, as long as they've got the time, I just think grab them. And wouldn't it be brilliant? Because obviously next year, 2025, that's going to be 20 years since the revival. And wouldn't it be perfect to have the Ninth Doctor and Rose in time for next year?
I got a feeling that Chris Eccleston was slightly pissed.
There wasn't.
What gives you that idea?
There was a lot of good.
I never saw it. I don't know.
Cybermat Strikes here says Big Finish is fan fiction, not canon. Well, not so. I mean, if you look back to 1999, the line has always been that this stuff is canon. And obviously, certain aspects of it have been mentioned on screen. So it is actually intended to be canon.
Yeah,
whether we consider it to be canon or not is another question entirely. Exactly. I'm not sure.
But I mean, interesting. Cybermat Strikes anyway is right. It plays like fan fiction. I mean, it is in many ways. It is fan fiction. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You think back to old fanzines that we were reading in the 80s. They were full of fan fiction. So and Big Finish is catering for fans. It's not catering for the general public. No. So yeah, it is fan fiction, to be fair. But it is also canon. Yeah.
So Matthew, have you
still
another?
Have to get a lot of. They have to get some feedback from the BBC for that, don't they? They just can't do anything.
Yeah, I think BBC give its blessing, or it allows them.
Yeah, it gives it. They give it the license.
Have you any other predictions, Matt? For they can be serious. They could be silly. Any other
anything I come up with is like, oh, you're taking the piss. So
there's nothing wrong with that, Matt. I started with a jumper.
Okay. I predict that towards the end of this series of 8 episodes,
that
Millie will shake her tush again.
Oh.
There you
we
go.
live in hope.
Go on, Dan. What's your what predictions have you got then, Dan?
Well, actually, most of mine have been scuppered.
Oh, we're terrible. We're a terrible panel.
But no, because I expected that to happen, I have got a couple in reserve. So here's mine. Okay, so I will state here on Type 40 Live here on what's the date on the 25th of January of 2024 that I believe that by this time next year we'll have had 8 new episodes of Doctor Who, brand new episodes of thrilling adventures in space and time. So we'll have those and another Christmas special. And despite all of that, and despite the fact that, as I say, my disclaimer, I'm not as down on this stuff as a lot of people are, I believe that this time next year, on the 25th of January 2025, that this series, this intellectual property, will critically, commercially, and ratings-wise too, be in exactly the same place as it is right now.
I wasn't expecting you to say that, actually. Oh.
And this is me taking my opinion of what they're doing on screen completely out of the equation, judging by the TV landscape, how the mainstream audience are responding to it, how the fan base are responding to it, and how the BBC are marketing and programming it, and Disney Plus for that matter, because they've said virtually F4. I think that perversely, this time next year, and we'll debate and review all of this stuff, and we're going to have a blast doing it. But despite that, I think the ratings are going to stay pretty much in one place. I think the fan base will stay, well, like some of it. They won't like they won't like some. And I think the general public, it'll arrive, it'll be on screen. Some people will notice, some people won't. I honestly think that it's got to that place where I don't think it's bland, but I don't think this is revolutionary enough and relevant enough. I mean, I don't count that kind of wokeism as relevance. It's a phony relevance. I don't think the series feels pulsing with the life that it should be at this point, and given the fact that all this stuff's in the can, and that they're already on to filming the next stuff, I do expect that, generally speaking, we'll be having a version of this conversation, if not this exact conversation, about where the series could be in 12 months' time. I think that despite some of it may be diverting, and there probably will be a lot to rant and to rave about, but generally speaking, we'll find ourselves in exactly the same place this time next year. And that is not... Obviously, there could be worse places to be. You could be cancelled. The ratings could bottom out. That's not going to happen either. But it's desirable. It's desirable that things make an impact in a positive, explosive way, like they did in 2005. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think we'll be in exactly the same place this time next year.
I think maybe being a bit optimistic, I think I'm with Ian. I think the ratings will have gone down by this time next year, but we'll see. We'll see. I would predict they've gone down.
I'm not saying they're not going to dip, but I'm talking about like the Whittaker.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like, it's that massive sustained drop. I think they'll bob along.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So, truth be told, it'll bobble along the bottom, basically, which is kind of what it's doing now. It's just bobbling along the bottom.
Everything will just bobble along. Interest will bobble along. The BBC won't upset. The BBC or Disney won't do anything particularly radical. They won't do anything particularly creative. It'll just bobble along.
Isn't that terrible, though, Dan? Isn't that sad?
Stephen Moffat once said Doctor should be anything except boring. And this is what we've come to.
Isn't that terrible? That's a really awful prediction, actually, Dan, when you think about it, because it's just so
depressing. And I had to go in for the black pill.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
And it's how I feel. It's how I feel about the modern television landscape, is that most shows and studios, channels and platforms just bobble along. That's why when a show comes out that's so alive and that's got so much identity, like Reacher on Amazon Prime right now, for example, it really stands out because there's a creative engine behind it and a real vision and a real hunger. And you can see by the way that the audiences respond to that stuff, and that's not, the gears aren't turning with Doctor Who, and so unless something radical's coming in season 1, it's not. But that's not going to happen. Usually, I'd be the guy saying, "Well, wait and see," because it's not been on yet. But because we know it's already been filmed, because we know this is banked up already, I think it's quite likely we'll be in exactly the same place this time next year. Slightly better. My other prediction I'm going to go with, it's similar to Matt's actually, but slightly more based in the history of the show. I believe that sooner rather than later we will see or hear K9 return to Doctor Who on television.
Oh, I hope you're right.
The Doctor's robot dog companion will return to Doctor Who, though I'm going to specifically state it's not going to be as we knew him, but know him, or her, or them. I think they're going to do something to evolve the concept of K9. But I think so. I'm not.
It's going to be a cat. It's going to be a robot cat.
So, well, that wouldn't be K9. That wouldn't be K9. Would it be feline?
Exactly.
So this is what I'm suggesting, that it's not going to be K9 Mark IV and it's going to be the same design. I think that they're going to take something of the principle of K9 and that character, and it's going to be part of the new series going forward.
Oh no, they'll ungender K9, won't they? It'll have to have no pro.
It'll have a female voice.
Oh,
It'll have a female voice. They'll give him a go. He'll make him a go.
That's the name on the head.
I'm not suggesting that John. I'm not. I should say I'm not suggesting that John Leeson won't return to voice K9, but I think that it could be expansive. Whatever is done with K9. That's my prediction. That
worries me. That worries me.
Will return to Doctor Who, and that will be possibly on screen, but I certainly think we're going to get that announced at some point this year.
Do you think K9's going to be with Ncuti then in the Ncuti episodes? Okay,
yes,
I think it would work. It would
Wow.
work in that, with that TARDIS interior having all those bloody ramps. He might as well.
Yeah, you're right.
That's part of it. That is part of my thinking.
He would look. K9 would look very cool against that white background.
People focusing on the wheelchair access. People are focusing on the wheelchair access. I'm going to focus on the robot dog, the tin dog access. Give K9 a sexy sat-nav voice. Demands cinnamon
toast
toast
crunch. Is this the flying version?
Who knows?
Well, it would be. It would fly.
We don't know.
I reckon it'd be great if we had him versus the Daleks, to be honest, flying around.
Yeah.
Bring back Chameleon, demands Adam. We're getting a lot of people making robust demands here. Troy is suggesting they could change the name. It could be Gay9.
No!
But you know what? Well, with the effects they can do today, all they need to do is build 1 or 2 K9s, don't they? And the rest of it could be CGI. When it's flying, CGI. When it's hovering, it could be CGI. You know what I mean? So the things they can do today. Sorry.
Can you imagine that sat nav voice with it getting arsed? You're going the wrong way.
It's got you can't do K9 without John Leeson. You just can't.
Now we've got several predictions to have a look at here from the punters, from everybody in the live chat here. We have what else? What have we got? We have this one from JFO, who suggests, I think we will get an announcement this year of a specials in 2025 to mark the 20th anniversary of New Who. Since Russell have brought it back. Do you really think they'd follow one anniversary so quickly with another one? And Sarah, you mentioned this with the audios. Could there be something on television?
But I felt it's Russell. So yeah, I think he could. And yeah, I don't know if there'll be any better.
See, something celebratory like that would need to involve Chris Eccleston, really, and that
yeah,
guy's
that's
not
what I was thinking.
David Tennant.
Yes, please.
David Tennant's only just been back, so I think it's highly unlikely. I think we may get some documentary about it, maybe, or perhaps.
You know what?
Russell T might have left by then, and then Chris would want to come back because he's not there. Do you know what I mean? So you never know.
I don't think they will, simply because I just think there is fatigue amongst the general public, and I think it'll just pass unnoticed by the general public,
like this one.
I just don't think. I think if we saw what we got for the 60th, which is just kind of vague. Go on, sorry. Yeah, go on, Ian.
Retro Doc Gary Akers predicts a year from now, Ian will still be waiting for Hugh Grant.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a correct prediction.
If we got 1 year with Hugh Grant as a Doctor, I'd be happy. I don't care.
Can I just ask the question? Can I just ask? We talked at great length last year about who the secret person was hidden under the coat, being smuggled in. So who was that then?
The guy from Coronation Street. Apparently, he was in Coronation Street.
What?
I know.
That was it. I think we did a whole show on that photograph.
I don't think we've actually seen that episode yet. I think that's from one of the season 1 stories. And there's a lot of belief out there that it's Martha Jones, played by Freema Agyeman.
Which one?
Okay.
Dan, which one are you talking about? The one that's been ushered in and got
that's right.
Wasn't that
Mel?
Mel, wasn't that Mel?
I don't know. It's never been revealed.
That had already been announced by.
Right. Okay.
There's a belief. There's a story out there that won't go away, and I've heard it from a couple of sources that Freema Agyeman will be involved in Doctor Who sooner rather than later.
Okay.
But I've seen no evidence with my own 2 eyes, but people have told
making
me
a lot of money in the States.
Freema was under that code. But she was. She's
doing very well.
Well, she's not doing that TV show anymore. The one in the hospital. She wrapped on that. But I know she was over here doing a stage tour late last year. I'm not sure whether she's here in the States at the moment.
Dan, she did a couple of films as well, I think, in the States.
Yeah, I really like Freema. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's lovely.
I'd love to see her back, but I don't know if I want to see her back right now.
Yeah, same here.
That's the same with me and Canine. I don't want to see them together.
Yeah.
I want it to be totally separate.
Geek Ramble says we need more animals in Doctor Who. Cast a badger as the next Doctor. You mean, Sean? Could be worth a punt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Zarbe, they're coming back. You don't believe it?
Oh no! What was that little robot? What was that little robot's name again in the Star? The second David Tennant thing. The little robot had to push the switch.
Oh, that one that you've got
Jimbo.
the hot for.
Jimbo. I want Jimbo to come back. Jimbo, man.
Bring back Jimbo.
He blew up.
Boy, who knows? Who knows? Yes, so those are our predictions here for what 2024 may bring in the Whoniverse on and off screen, and we're interested in yours too. Keep them coming. Drop us some in the comments section and we'll get back to you. We may well bring them up on screen and pick our way through some more completely bat-esque suggestions and predictions here on Type 40 Live, because to be honest, I think that's probably what the fandom does. If not best, then close to best. Hope you've enjoyed hearing all of this. And yes, I have no doubt that it will come back to haunt us in a year's time.
That cursed Doctor is interfering with my plans, but I will destroy the universe. He won't be able to stop me, but you might if you watch Type 40.
Oh, God.
I can't really argue with that, can you? You can't argue with that. If somebody tells you they're going to destroy the universe, you believe them. Yes, that's. I'm feeling pretty much on top of the world after this fabulous live stream launching our 8th season of Type 40 Live here. Yeah, there they are. I love all this stuff. And yes, we'll be back for more next week. Of course we will, which will include the return of our staples, our gallery of the prettiest pictures from out there in the Whoniverse, the return of the Doctor Who diary when Simon Horton dusts it off. He's got to find it first. Is it in the smallest room in the house? Have you left it in the bog?
And we've got a special story, a special Christmas.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
diary.
because we've actually got a diary now for reasons that will become apparent next week that we will tell you all about next week.
It's a little
Marvelous
tease here
stuff.
for next week.
Yeah, and as ever, yes, so the gallery will be back open. And so here it is. Here's the call to action, everybody. If you're a fan artist or you know a fan artist that you think we'd love to have their work up on our view screen for everybody to enjoy, then send them our way. That's what you need to do. Point us in the direction of their website, their art page, their Twitter feed, wherever they put out their work, wherever we can find them, and we can get it here. And we can share and enjoy all together here at Type 40 Live. If not for the fact that we need something to brighten up these bloody walls. They need to start filling up that TARDIS. That's what I think. Absolutely. Now, it does.
It's a
what was that? What was the room?
That's for sure.
The embarkation room was it called in Stargate? Do you remember in SG1?
Oh yes, you're right.
That is kind of what it looks like. Lots of comments in the live chat. Yeah. Thank you to everybody who's joined us here in the live chat. What a great show. Thriving with activity and suggestions, not least of all from Crimpling Doubloon there, who's the way this man knows his way around a program guide. I don't know whether he's got a great big magazine in front of him and lots of different markers. He highlights different things in different colours, or whether he just goes through the EPG on Sky or TiVo very, very thoroughly. I don't know how he works his magic, but I'm just glad that he does.
I think he's in it, like the land of fiction. Crimpling Doubloon's in like the land of Radio Times. He's just there all the time. Everything at his disposal is brilliant.
He could be. So yes, this is how you get in touch with us through our social medias, Instagram and X at Type 40 Doctor Who. You can email us to type40@outlook.com. If you want more real-time interaction, why not join the Type 40 Facebook group there? There's lots of incarnations of your favourite and not so favourite Time Lords there in the Type 40 Facebook group. It's a cracker. It's a cracker, isn't it? Yes, so people are asking, you back next week too? You back next week too? We are indeed, Fly Highland. So join us again next week, same time and space for more free speaking, big thinking, news, views, nostalgia, discussion, and banter here at Type 40 Live. 2024 has only just begun, and I can't wait to get started. We've got a few months to wait until season 1 of Doctor Who. Heaven knows what that's going to bring, but we're going to make the most of the wait in between and do what fans do best. We're going to speculate, we're going to take the piss, and we're going to get into some deep conversations.
I know.
Everybody out there too. We're going to do lots of moaning. Of course we are. So yeah, get in touch with us through the comments section. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the cloister bell to get all our notifications about what we're doing next and when we're doing it. Time for a tart here?
Yeah, absolutely. Always time for a tart, mate. Always.
You can always make it.
I always like a bit of tart, especially with some raspberry on it. Yeah.
Not so good for breakfast, though, Matt. Obviously, you're a real-time traveller. How's it looking? How's Friday looking so far, mate?
Oh, it's really good. We have a public holiday here today, so
any special occasion
going on? Sorry. Oh, yeah, it's Australia Day. So
Happy Australia Day.
Yeah,
this is like our Independence Day, all that sort of weird stuff. So this is the day. So yeah.
It was perfect. It was perfect that Dan showed the Tom Baker Australia advert in the advertising break.
Yeah,
he did it deliberately, didn't you, Dan? You knew really it was Australia Day.
Oh, we loved our Tom Baker. Don't worry, we absolutely adored him.
But, yeah, we will be back next time. We'll be streaming as ever to Rumble, to YouTube, and to Facebook with a further live stream, Type 40 Live, opening the double doors once again onto, if not this brand spanking new, far too clean TARDIS, then certainly onto another model. Thank you all for your company. Thank you to Charlotte Shields, as always. Have her back. Ian, I'm glad you could finally make it. I'm glad we could grab you after all. Thank you so much. Matt, thank you for your company too. Sarah, so glad you're over the Rona. Great to have you.
Me too.
happens, I don't doubt. I'm still chuckling about your prediction about the Monoptera coming back into fashion.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It could happen.
You
It
mock
could
me
happen.
now.
You can get Jinx Monsoon. You can get that.
Exactly. And I know what I'd rather see.
Yeah, me too.
And of course, Simon Horton, thank you for your company as well.
Thank you, Dan. Woohoo!
Yes,
Dan.
It is genuinely a pleasure to be back. Thank you again for the comments. We'll keep bringing it on the weekly if you keep turning up. And yeah, let us know what you think of all of this in the comments section. We always have the time if you have the space here at Type 40 Live. It's great to be back. Have a great weekend. We'll speak to you all again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.